Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are back here for more ALR 100% League action, and we are here down under. So should be speaking upside down, really, or should be standing upside down somehow. But we are in Australia here for the 16th round of the season. But of course, this is marrying up with the official F1 calendar. So we're going to give you a preview here of the Australian Grand Prix. And there we go. So we're looking forward to seeing what we can do now in this wonderful race around the Albert Park street circuit. It's technically a street circuit, isn't it? Because it is around the lake, which is in the middle of that track map. If you can see it right there, it's not on the track map unfortunately, but it is there. I can guarantee it. But we did have that wonderful. I can't remember if that was what sort of glitch it was, but it was a interesting glitch where we saw the lake in the preview of the stream, and then we had the man standing in the middle of the lake on his own, like he was walking on water, which was very interesting indeed. But that was a long time ago. But now we're here to focus on the ALR 100% League here in Melbourne, and of course Siege is taking us through the very difficult turns at 11 and 12 chicane. Of course, the reprofiled circuit tonight, which has obviously been changed I think it was changed last year, wasn't it, for the returning Grand Prix, and now we're here once again to try and tackle on the new layout of the circuit. It's a bit more of a faster flowing feel now to the Australian Grand Prix, which is nice indeed. And hopefully, I'm just double checking I can hear myself as well. I can hear myself. Everything's all good. Siege there crosses the line to set the first time on the board of a 1:18. Like I was saying previously, we'd see a lap time around 1 minute 30, 1 minute 29, around that sort of mark. So it is about 10 seconds faster, maybe a bit faster than that now this lap. So we're of course 58 laps tonight around this famous circuit. And of course the prestigious circuit used to be of course the first race of the calendar, and that has of course since been replaced by Bahrain, of course during the COVID times. I think it was sort of taken off the calendar briefly, wasn't it, as a bit of a postponement, but thankfully now we are back. We've got Australia back to take on. We've got KD up into P1 at the moment with a 17.8. He's almost 6 tenths faster, 5.5 tenths faster than Siege currently, the first two to set a time. And now his teammate of Gamer there is coming through as well. Beat has got himself up into P3 there with an 18.8. Good stuff indeed. Let's see what the current championship leader AC Immortal can do now, coming round into Sector 3. Like I was saying in the Discord before we started this race, it's a bit of a treacherous circuit in terms of the curbs. They can really spit you out and throw you off into a wall. And as we go round now, the final corner for the AlphaTauri. Let's see what the AlphaTauri driver can do. Of course, championship leader up to the line. He's done a 17.7 there, a tenth of a second there ahead of KD. For the time being, that is, but good stuff indeed, as Hungry Styles has retired in the pit lane, as has Dan Murphy as well. Let me just try and get the comment section up so that we can see who's doing what. There we go. Then we are up and about. Yellow flags in Sector 3, but I think that's just a Red Bull hopefully letting people through off the circuit as well. Here comes Percy. Percy has invalidated on his run there, so he's not been able to get a time in on this occasion. Let's see what he can do later on as X Gamer now comes through as well. Let's have a good look at Gamer. What time can the Aston Martin do compared to his teammate? He's up to the line. He's there he is. I'm not sure I'm spectating the right car here. Yeah, he's up to P7. There's a 19.9 there. I'm not quite sure what happened. There's a game. I think he might have had a bit of a problem there on his previous lap. But he's got himself a banker lap at least set on the time board, so they can try and go again in the next stage of this qualifying. Of course, 12 minutes left of the qualifying session. We did start a bit early, which was nice indeed for me. I get to go to bed about 2 minutes earlier than usual. But no, good stuff indeed there from Gamer and from all the drivers there to get themselves back in. Of course, we had a bit of a lobby restart as well, with a few errors there trying to get the lobby sorted. So thankfully we're up and running, and we can try and get ourselves to the end of this race. As Serious Mushroom is also retired, so he's not having a good time there in the pit lane either. So there we go. Yellow flags. Sick as Muck there is coming back round on his in lap now into P5, I should say. 19.0 there for Sick as Muck, reserving tonight in the Mercedes. So good stuff indeed. Brooksy's back out on track, but he's just letting the Aston Martins go through. I think that is Gamer there returning to the pit lane there on his in lap as well. Good stuff indeed. Perseus saying, "Rain, what the clip?" Okay, we've got rain coming. I'm not sure what Brooks is trying to do there. He's trying to go off the circuit as well, his teammate. We've got an Aston Martin off the circuit as well. But here comes Brooks now to start his flying lap around the Melbourne circuit. But apparently there is rain afoot in the race, so we'll have to keep an eye out for that one. I'm not sure if it's going to be for the full race or if it's going to be changeable conditions during the 58 laps we've got of this fantastic circuit, but we'll have to wait and see. Brooksy now onto the track there to get himself underway for his first flying lap in anger, as Danny is retired in the pit lane as well. It seems like a lot of people there are losing their car keys in the pit lane, which really doesn't help too much because they're going to be starting about, as Brooksy's unfortunately invalidated, they're going over the curbs there in Sector 1. That is dangerous territory, and that is where you can easily invalidate the time and also go off very dramatically into a wall, and we've seen that before around Australia. Those treacherous curbs there in Sector 1 can cause a few issues as the Red Bulls, they're going side by side and almost into each other. It looks like a bit of contact there between the wheels of the of both Red Bulls going now through turns 11 and 12. But like I said, we've got a few people out on track. There's a few people, like I said, who've lost their car keys, 5 indeed, who are going to be starting down from P20 to P15. Vintage is on track as well. Let's have a look and see what Vintage can do as he comes now down towards the Sector 2 chicane, making sure you get that nailed on. You can feel the speed difference if you get it completely right compared to when you get it completely wrong. I'm used to getting it completely wrong, of course. So there we go. Evening all from Serious Rushman as well. Good evening to yourself, sir. Of course, we're racing in the Haas tonight as well. So let's have a look and see what Serious Rushman can do in the race. We're not going to be able to see him do anything in qualifying, but there we go. Vintage now coming round the final corner to complete his first flying lap here in the Melbourne circuit. It's going to be up to the line there. He's weaving down the straight, but he's up to the line there anyway. He's done a 21.2 there for the Williams driver, so up into P10 for the time being. Brooksy and Percy have started their flying laps respectively, so hopefully the Red Bull drivers can get themselves a lap on the board very soon. Have a look and see who else is further up the order. I don't think Kaidel is coming back into the pit lane. I think he's going to be finishing off this lap as well. Let's have a look and see what Brooksy is going to be up to here. He's, I think, giving a nice little tow there to his teammate of Percy. Percy trying to get himself up the order there. Purple in Sector 2 as well, which is good news. And now into, well, in Sector 1 that is. No, Sector 2, sorry, I'm getting that wrong. Into Sector 3 we go. And now down, this is another reprofile turn here. This right-hander, it's very easy to get it wrong, and that bounce over that curve is now a bit more treacherous, but the corner itself has been opened up a bit more as Percy there unfortunately goes a bit too wide, invalidates there on that attempt, unfortunately for the Red Bull driver, and now gets in the way of his teammate as well. So his teammate is coming into the pit lane, and that might be a penalty there for Lucas Percy as well. I think that might be, of course, in qualifying. Collisions usually cost 5 place grid penalties, don't they? So I'm not quite sure. Hopefully there's no issues there for the two drivers. Nice spar race from you and Troy yesterday. I think it was the best spar race I had was on Monday. I think it wasn't yesterday. But there we go. Sick as Muck is back out on track there. He's looking to get himself further up the order there in his Mercedes. We've got a few more drivers out and about on track. Still yet to come out of the pit lane is Chewy and Kaz. Let's have a look and see what Kiki can do as he comes around. He's unfortunately invalidated. There we go. Commentator's curse there. He's invalidated before I got to him though. But yeah, I think he might be looking to... Oh, he's off the circuit completely there. That is definitely not what you want to do. Not good for the tyres, and also not good for the start of the lap. He's going to go again, but he might have compromised himself into, or down the main straight at least, as he goes towards turn 1 here. Very difficult turn 1 as well to make sure you get it right as well, especially when you've got as KD goes fastest, sorry, with a 17.534. We'll come back to Kiki, but KD there setting the pace at this stage of the qualifying. Great stuff indeed there from KD with a great lap as well. He's 2 and a bit tenths ahead of AC Immortal there, the current championship leader, so looking good indeed for the Aston Martin driver. And let's have a look and see what his teammate can do as well. Hopefully his teammate can be up there like they were, of course, in Saudi Arabia. Further down the order, we'll look at Kiki trying to get his first lap time on the board, and we've got a yellow flag there for a Mercedes. I think it might be Sick as Muck there, just trying to get himself back to the pit lane there. But here comes Kiki now down the back straight towards the chicane once again, and making sure he gets that nailed on. He's gone a bit too slow, I think, on that chicane. So you can see usually you run off onto the curve exit of turn 12, but nonetheless he's kept it clean, kept it valid as well. And let's see what he can do now up to the line. Round into Sector 3 we go as it goes nice and keeps it over on that curb, but not too far over the curb. But we saw a few two drivers are already invalidate on their flying laps. Let's have a look now. Round the final corner we go. DRS is activated. Of course, there's there's 3 DRS zones around here, but there's 2 activation zones, as Kiki does get himself on the board at 19.0, puts himself P6 for the time being. A few more outlaps for some drivers as well. But like I said, like I was saying, the DRS zones. There's two activation zones. There's one at the exit of well, there's one just before the final corners, and that is where the activation zone is for the main straight. And then, of course, you carry on that DRS straight on to through turns 1 and 2, and then on to the straight between turn 2 and turn 3. So technically, that's one activation zone for those 2 DRS zones, and then you've got an activation zone in the middle of the lap there as they come around the. We'll have a look here on board with Brooksy. Round about this sort of stage of the lap, there's an activation zone here, and then you can put the DRS on when you come through the chicane again down towards turn 13 as well. This is turn 13 technically. Down towards turn 14 is a DRS zone as well. So there's two activation zones, and there's 2 detection zones and 3 activation zones on this lap as well. Percy, they're just starting his lap now. Brooksy as well going to be taking us around the lovely Melbourne circuit. Kydell was unfortunately validated on his run here. Here comes Gamer though. Gamer's just I think Gamer's going a bit slow there. I think he might be just trying to warm up the tyres for another attempt, but let's have a look and see what we can do. Mushroom has said, I watched Mondays too. Second. Yes, I think I finished. I can't remember where I finished, but I'm not need to worry about where I finished, because I'll just try and finish. That's my aim. But there we go. Percy's gone purple in Sector 1. Can he beat a 17.534 there from KD? It will be a tough order, but we'll see what the Red Bull driver can do tonight. It's going to be close indeed, I think, because Percy's got the pace. We've seen that from Gold as well into Sector 2. He's also purple as well. And now into Sector 3 we go, onto the curve there on the exit of turn 12. Through turn 13, DRS is wide open, like I was saying earlier, and now down towards turn 14, making sure we don't clip the curb there on the entry. It's a bit of a treacherous curb as AC Immortal goes fastest with a 17.4. Can the Red Bull driver of Lucas Percy usurp the AlphaTauri, his sister team? Let's see what he can do now. He comes around the final corner. DRS once again activated as he goes down the main straight towards the line. It's going to be a 17.0 there from Percy, 4 tenths faster than AC Immortal in P2. Fantastic stuff indeed there from Percy. A great lap time indeed. AC Immortal might have to come back at the pit lane and try and challenge that, as will KD. I think KD is just still in the pit lane for the time being. Beat has got himself out on track. He's up into P4. Looking good indeed in the Alfa Romeo for the time being as well. Good stuff indeed from the Alfa Romeo driver. Siege in the pit lane at the moment. He's currently P5. Bannister in P6, but he is attacking the track as we speak. There, looking good going through turns 11 and 12. Once again, Sickus Muck is also on track. And we've got a few more drivers there further down the order. X Gamer unfortunately is invalidated once again. Hopefully he can get himself back to the pit lane and get a new set of tyres on that Aston Martin to try once again. We've got up the order. We've had somebody else jump up the order. I think it might have been Kydell. Kydell popping himself up into P6 for the time being. Good stuff indeed. And we were expecting Kydell to be a bit late to this session, but he's managed to make it in time for the qualifying as well, which is good stuff indeed. Right then, Sickus Muck, I think, is the next driver to come round the final corner to try and complete this flying lap. I think this might be the one and done there for the Mercedes driver. He's up into P6 there. He replaces Kydell there in P6, an 18.558. But I don't think he's got, unless he's got enough fuel on board and enough ERS in the storage, he'll be able to get himself back round to put on another set of tyres. I think we've only got 2.5 minutes left of the session, so that will be it for Sickus Muck, unless, like I said, he can go back round once again and recharge the battery on this lap and then go again for one more attempt. But I think that might be it for the Mercedes driver there in this session so far. KD is back out on track, as is Siege as well, looking to improve on their times, and we'll have a look and see what those drivers can do. Yeah, McLaren going very slowly there in Sector 2. Now Sector 3, he is it's just Kydell there trying to get himself back out of the way. I think hopefully he doesn't get in the way of any of the drivers coming through as well. Kydell just getting out of the way of KD, and we've got the Mercedes of Sickus Muck who's coming back into the pit lane on his in lap as well. Good stuff indeed. I think has Kydell got a problem there, or has he run out of fuel? I think he might have run out of fuel there in that McLaren, and I think that's what's causing the issues there, as Kiki has retired Kiki is retired. I think he's in the pit lane there. I think he has made it to the pit lane there. I thought he might have been on the final corner, but he has made it back to the pit lane there, thankfully. Kaido there just creeping around back to the pits as well. Sick as Muck is back in the pit as well. KD, we're going to go on board there with KD's lap then, because he's on a flying lap here. Percy and Immortal ahead of him, and his teammate of Gamer are on out laps at the moment. But let's have a look and see what the American driver can do down under. He's a lot further away from home tonight there, unfortunately, in the Aston Martin, but we'll see what he can do here tonight in the green car. Unfortunately, he's got time, I think, to abandon the lap now. He invalidated there in sector 1, but I think he's still got time, to be fair, to get round and put on save up some ERS and go again for another attempt. Kaido back in the pit lane has retired from the session. He's done his best there. P7 is going to be the highest he's going to be starting in this race. Siege is on a flying lap as well. Let's have a look and see what Siege can do as he comes now into sector 2. Trying to follow this Red Bull through as well, but I think he's going to get a nice little tow potentially from the Red Bull, who's on his out lap. It looks like. I think we'll have to double check that. But Siege there coming through now into sector 3. We've got rain starting here already. I think there was a flash of rain there on my screen. I'm not quite sure. Siege has gone very wide there indeed, and that is it's not invalidated, but it's going to cost him some time, I think, in this flying lap attempt. I don't know if he'll be able to improve there on his 18.4 that he's already set. And the rain, I think, has started to fall. I'm pretty sure I saw something falling from the sky, unless it's my imagination, but I'm pretty sure there's rain starting to fall here in the end of this qualifying session. So I think if it starts to get any heavier as Siege there has finished, Lucas Percy has retired, as that is a smash there from Lucas Percy. We'll ride on board with Brooksy, his teammate, who's up into P5 with a good time indeed. But there is Lucas Percy's car. It is off the circuit. It is in the wall. Lucas Percy pushing really hard there through turns 1 and 2, and that is him off the circuit, and that is definitely not what you want to do through turns 1 and 2. Chewy in the top 5, says Serious Rushman. Unfortunately, Chewy didn't get a time in. He's starting P18. Kaz didn't get a time in either. He's starting P20. Vintage is back in the pit lane, starting in P9. But AC Immortal is on track. I think KD unfortunately has invalidated his time once again, which is a big shame. Here comes Immortal. I don't think he's going to be able to improve now. The rain has started to fall for sure. I can definitely say it's not my eyes. It's definitely the rain falling. But no, thankfully for my sake anyway, I won't have to go to the optician just yet, but now we go down the main straight once again for Immortal. Can he improve? He can't improve on his time though. That's him done and dusted. KD is going to come round to finish off the laps as well. Not Gamer has improved there to P7 there. I think the rain, he did improve by a second and a half almost as well, but a great lap time indeed. But I think the rain coming at the wrong time there for Gamer as well, unfortunately for him. So that is the qualifying done and dusted here in Melbourne in Australia. But we'll have a quick rundown of the classifications as well for the start of the race, which will be coming up very, very shortly. So of course the race is 58 laps, so we'll be looking to get through that in one piece, in my opinion. That's what I'd be trying to do anyway. Kaz there in P20 didn't set a time. Reflection the same in P19. Chewy in P18 and Dan Murphy in P17. Styles in P16. Mushroom in P15. Danny there starting in P14. Swanshanks there in P13, the slowest of the time runners so far, but we'll have to wait and see if he can improve on that in the race. We can see some consistency from Swanshanks, I'm sure. Kiki in P12, Bannister in P11, Vintage in P10, Kaido in P9, Sicker Smuck P8, Gamer in P7, Siege P6, Brooksy in P5, and then we've got our top four of Beat, KD, sorry, I should say, trying to get my words out, AC Immortal in P2, and then Lucas Percy is your pole sitter for the Australian Grand Prix, rather. Different part of the world that is, but we're in the Australian Grand Prix, not the Austrian Grand Prix, of course. But yeah, looking forward to seeing how this is going to unfold. As we have, it does seem nice and dry at the moment in the pit lane anyway. In this the start of the race, so hopefully we'll have a nice dry start to this event. Fingers crossed we will. Anyway, we'll have to wait and see. But just double checking. Well, the drivers just double checking their setups, getting the fuel levels ready, getting the strategies ready, and having a nice cup of tea before we get ourselves started for Australia. The 58 laps of Australia as well. It's going to be, like I said, a longer event. We had 50 laps of Saudi Arabia, which is about the similar sort of lap time, just a bit longer, a bit shorter, I suppose, in Australia tonight. But so yeah, we have 58 laps there of the Australian Grand Prix, which will be coming up for you very, very, very soon. Right then, we are ready to get going for the formation lap. We'll have a quick rundown of the tyre compounds. But currently it was Lucas Percy there having a few troubles there, getting himself off the line, it looks like. And now reversing down the main straight. So I'm not quite sure what's happened to Lucas Percy there. He's having a few issues, it looks like, unfortunately for him. So he's now, well, he's lost his P1 at the moment. I think actually in real life, if you do that on the formation lap, you do actually lose positions as well, which is maybe something they should introduce there for the Codemasters games, because I think some people take the formation lap not too seriously, put it that way. Yeah, so we'll have to wait and see if that's going to be implemented by Codemasters at some point. But I think they've got some other worries to deal with first. But nonetheless, Lucas Percy there will take us away. AC Mortal in P2 and KD is your top three. We'll run through the tyre compounds at the start of this event, and we'll have a look and see what the drivers are going to be starting on. Kaz there on the medium compound tyres in P20, Reflection on the softs in P19. So looking for a fast start is Reflection. Then we've got Chewy on the mediums in P18, Dan Murphy on the hards in P17. So looking to go long in the first stint is the AlphaTauri driver. Styles on the medium compound tyres, as is Serious Mushroom there in P15 on the mediums as well. Danny on the soft compound tyres. So quite a different strategy in terms of tyre through the grid already. Swanshanks in P13 on the mediums, as is Kiki and Bannister and Vintage into the top 10. Kaido on the mediums in P9, and then we've got Sick as Muck there on the hards in P8, so looking to go long as well in the Mercedes. Gamer there on the soft compound tyres in P7, so looking to make up some places there off the start. Siege in P6 on the medium compound tyres. Brooksy on the softs in P5, as is Beat in P4. So those two are going to get a great start indeed, I think. KD on the medium compound tyres in P3, and then we've got AC Immortal there on the front row, the championship leader on the hard compound tyres, and Lucas Percy, who has just been disqualified, in P1 there on the hards as well. Right then, we're just getting ourselves lined up on the grid. It was a very quick formation lap, so we'll have to wait and see how quick the race is going to be. But like I said, they need to make sure they keep their heads, keep the temperament, and keep it clean as well as we go in towards turn one, which is going to be a nice quick run down towards turn one. Just waiting for the last car to line themselves up on the grid, and we'll be ready to get going here in Australia. There we'll have hopefully we get a bit of a better camera angle than this. We've got 5 red lights on already. Instantly, the 5 red lights are off, and away we go. I think. Drive-through start there for Danny. Danny's got a horrible start there, unfortunately. The Mercedes down in P14. Beat has got himself up into P2. He's up into P2 already. Great start indeed there for Beat. Brooksy's got himself up into P2 as well. The Red Bull's really storming through. Brooksy goes wide there, but he's managed to keep it on the track just about, and he's now up into P2, right behind his teammate of Lucas Percy. Beat has got himself up another place. We'll have a look at the position changes as well quickly. But Beat has got himself up a place. KD dropping down 1 place. AC Immortal dropping down 3 places. A horrible start there for the AlphaTauri championship leader on the hard compound tyres. Gamer's got himself up a place as well. Siege down 1 place, unfortunately. Sick as Muck and Kaido staying where they are. The biggest loser so far is Danny, who's dropped down all the way to the back. Unfortunately for Danny, that's not a good start indeed. But like I said, there's plenty of racing still to come. Here comes Beatned with Brooksy down the inside, or round the outside now, as it switches round in sector 2. Towards sector 3, we're going to go in towards the chicane. I don't think it's a good idea to go side by side through here. We've seen some incidents through there as well. Was going through turn 11 and 12. Everyone's gone through a-okay for the time being. It looks like AC Immortal trying to get those hard compound tyres warmed up. Where you've got not quite sure what the strategy is here for Lucas Percy. He's got Beat there on the outside of him now, and I think those soft compound tyres are really powering through there for Brooksy and for Beat at the same stage of this race as well. Those hard compound tyres, Lucas Percy managed to get them warmed up enough, as we've got yellow flags in the background. Kaz is off the circuit. He's got no, he's not got any wing damage. He's okay to carry on, thankfully for Kaz. Yeah, Kaz there having a few issues there down the first lap. We've done and dusted. Brooksy has taken the lead. He's gained 4 places on 1 lap, as here comes Beat there trying to get himself past Lucas Percy. No moves being made just yet for the Alfa Romeo driver. He's trying to stick with his teammate now as Lucas Percy on those harder compound tyres. Of course, they'll be harder to warm up as well compared to the soft compound tyres for his teammate Brooksy and for Beat right behind him. But of course, they will be able to go longer into this race than the soft compound tyres are expected to go as well. So there's still strategy and a bit more tactical thought into this one for Lucas Percy, but he's still going to try and keep within that 1 second window of his teammate, because that will help him pull himself along with the DRS assistance as well, which will be activated at the beginning of lap 3. We're now on to lap 2. And Lucas Percy is sticking very nicely indeed with his teammate as well as they go round towards Sector 3 now through the chicane once again. And there we go, very nice indeed. The top three trying to pull away at the moment, it seems like. KD is sticking with them as well. AC Immortals dropped out of that 1 second window from the Aston Martin, which is not good news. 3 second penalty already for Kiki and for Danny. Oh, Danny's got his drive through, of course. So yeah, not quite sure what's going on there. Dan Murphy and Swanshanks switching places as we go into the turn 14 corner. After the AlphaTauri's got the move done, here comes Reflection as well on the soft compound tyres. He's managed to gain 6 places, now 7 places as he goes down around the outside of Swanshanks, I should say. Kiki has got the move done as well on Swanshanks, and here comes Vintage. Vintage there trying to get himself back up the order after losing 5 places on the grid. DRS has been enabled now as we start lap 3. Swanshanks there keeps hold of P14 for the time being, but that is always he's off the circuit there at turn 1. That is not good news. Vintage might be able to capitalise here as well. Now coming down the inside goes the Williams driver up into P14, takes that place with Swanshanks there going off the circuit. Kaido and Sick as Muck switching places as well into, oh, this is close indeed between the two. Kaido has got the position there just about. Oh, it's close indeed as well to going off the circuit there for Kaido, and that could have been a bit treacherous as well. That curve does like to spit you out and throw you into the wall. But Kaido keeps the position, I should say, and he's got the place up into P8. They're gaining a place now on Sick as Muck, who's starting, of course, on the hard compound tyres. So, like I said, he will have a bit more of a warm-up phase at the beginning of this race, but he'll be able to phase literally back into it with the other tyres. They're dropping off a bit faster than those hard compound tyres. So, not all doom and gloom, just losing that 1 place so far. Bannister up into the top 10 for the time being as well. Dan Murphy and Reflection here are very close proximity into turn 14. No moves being made just yet, but good stuff indeed from all the drivers who've got themselves through safely. No wing changes just yet that we didn't need, or no unscheduled stops just yet, thankfully, which is all good in the hood for the time being. Down under, we've now got Brooksy there second, the fastest lap of the race. He's got himself a nice 1 second window, but his teammate of Percy has got the DRS there. He did have the DRS there to help try and defend himself from, as Brooksy picks up a penalty there on the exit of turn 2, but Brooksy there is trying to use the DRS now to defend it from he's trying to use the defend from the Alfa Romeo, I should say, of Beat, who's trying to come through on those soft compound tyres. He can't get his way through just yet. They're trying to get themselves away from KD as well. KD just about hanging on there on the medium compound tyres to the 1 second window there of the top 3, but now it seems to have been calming down a little bit more once the race start has got ourselves out of the way. Here comes Gamer trying to get himself past Immortal this time. Let's have a look and see what the Aston Martin driver can do on the soft compound tyres. Here comes the Aston. Oh, he's got a yellow flag. That is a retirement of Kiki. Kiki's off the circuit there completely. Danny has served his drive route. There is a safety car there, which is good news for Danny indeed, because he is now going to be able to catch up to the back of the pack. But Kiki off the circuit at the exit of turn 6, I think it is. Yep, there he is there. The Ferrari there stranded in the wall, and that is the first safety car there of the evening. Unfortunately there for Kiki, it is the Ferrari driver who's retired from the race, which is a big shame there for Kiki. He was looking good indeed to gain a few places and almost got himself back into the points paying positions as well. But there we go, safety car is out. Let's have a look and see what's going to happen there further down the order, or up the order I should say. He was looking here on top on POV with Brooksy. He's in the pit lane, so that is him from the race leader coming in the pit lane as Lucas Percy is following him in as well. KD resumes the race and he leads the race now as well. Good stuff indeed for KD. He has got himself up 2 places now at this stage. Into the pits comes Beat as well from P3 onto the medium compound tyres. There's a few more drivers in the pits, but the pit activity there is sorting itself out now, as Danny there is coming in the pit lane as well. So I'm not quite sure what the strategy is for Danny, but I'm not quite sure what tyres he started on. He started on the soft compound tyres, so yeah, he might be able to get himself a nice free pit stop here as well, and then catch up to the safety car queue on this lap also. So good stuff indeed. Right, then we'll have a look back now at the tyre situation. So the top, what is it? The top, not really the top, sorry, just Chewy and Kaz there are yet to pit as well in P13 and 14. But the top 11 have yet to pit. Of course, only 4 laps done on those tyres. And then we've got Brooksy there, who's just come out the pit lane there. He's in P12 on the fresh medium compound tyres. Beat in P15 on the fresh mediums, as is Lucas Percy in P16, and Gamer in P17, and of course Reflection in P18. Right then, we'll have we've got to try and get the that Mercedes needs to catch up to the safety car queue, and then we can get ourselves back underway for the green flag running here in Melbourne. But we're on lap 5 of 58. We've still got well, we're about almost a tenth of the way through, but we're almost there. So like I said, the drivers there coming through now, just filtering in, catching up to the safety car queue, and then we'll be able to get ourselves back underway for the restart of this Grand Prix. I think it'll be next lap we'll be coming back in, so we're just waiting for Danny there to catch up to the queue before the safety car can come in, but once he is caught up to the back of the pack, we'll be ready to get going once again here in Melbourne, and we'll be looking to see everybody who started on the soft compound tyres has switched off of those soft compound tyres straight away with this early safety car and onto the medium compound tyres, so potentially looking to go onto the mediums or maybe even the hards later on in this race to get themselves to the end of the race. We'll have to find out what the strategy is going to be, how it unfolds as well. KD there starting on the medium compound tyres. He can't, of course, has to switch into the pit lane goes Kaz. Kaz going into the pit lane there after switching, not deciding to switch off the medium compound tyres there. So interesting strategy call there from the Ferrari driver, but he has got himself into the pit lane there, going onto the hard compound tyres, it looks like. So yeah, he waited an extra lap, so maybe he's trying to extend the stint on the hard compound tyres so that he can get them an extra bit of distance there in the race, rather than putting any tyre wear on them under the safety car. So he's got themselves now onto the hard compound tyres, and away he goes out of the pit lane. Yeah, like I said, I have no idea what the strategy is going to be around here. So, like I said, the soft compound runners were very quick to change onto the medium compound tyres. So maybe we're expecting the medium compound tyres to be the optimal tyre, of course, in this race. We'll have to find out how that's going to unfold, as now Kaz very close to catching up to the safety car queue. I think the safety car will be in this lap, so we'll be able to resume the racing here in Australia. Now on to lap 6. So lap 7 will be the restart of the race, I should say. And then we'll be able to crack on with the next stage of this Grand Prix. Like I said, unfortunate there for Kiki there, having the big smash there at the exit of turn 6, which was like I said, Rick, on his own it looked like a bit collected the car into the wall, and unfortunately that was where the race ended there for the Ferrari driver. His teammate of Kaz is down in P19 as well after making that stop as well. So it was a bit of a early call there for both the Ferraris there. One the Ferrari out of the race, and one Ferrari coming into the pit lane under the safety car. KD safety car is in this lap. KD is now the de facto safety car. He will be leading us away there before the restart of this race. Of course, the restart line is a bit further forward, but we count the restart line in ALR as Brooksy's got a penalty there for a severe collision with Mushroom. Yeah, so like I said, we count the restart line as the start-finish line to make it fair for every circuit. So that is where the start-finish line is for all the safety car restarts. KD is going to be leading us away. He's going to be deciding when to drop the hammer and get himself back underway. I think he's actually gone already, to be fair. He's going great guns already. AC Mortar, I think, has not been caught out by this one, but on the hard compound tyres, might have a bit more warm-up to do to get himself back underway. KD has gone now. He's down the main straight already. Here comes AC Immortal as well. Siege filtering into P3 as well. Kaidel up into P4. Good stuff indeed from him as well, as Mortal there trying to warm up the tyres, as is KD as well, but KD is on the medium compound tyres. I don't think he needs to worry about that. Kaidel, sorry, doesn't need to worry about that as much as the hard runner of AC Immortal so far. Sick as muck up into P5 there. Good stuff indeed. Down the order, we've got Beat there trying to get himself past Chewy. Chewy's been passed by Lucas Percy as well. He's dropped down the order by two positions there, unfortunately for Chewy. He's having a bit of a difficult time there. Here comes Gamer as well down the inside into turn 3. It's going to be close indeed, but Chewy there trying to hold on to the outside. He's got the move done there. Has Gamer, great stuff indeed. They're up into P15. Of course, one of the first drivers to make a pit stop as well from the soft compound tyres, and their Reflection picking up a penalty in sector 1 as well, unfortunately for Reflection. Brooksy's down off the circuit. Brooksy there, who was the race leader at one point on the first couple of laps there, off the circuit at turn 6, where we saw Kiki have a big smash there. Reflection getting him past Chewy now, and I think Lucas Percy getting himself past the Alfa Romeo Beat there as well. So Lucas Percy now up into P12, and Beat down to P13. Unfortunately there for Brooksy there off the circuit there with wing damage at turn 6, and that is not good news there as he comes through the chicane once again, going over the curbs there as well. Unfortunately, he's got no front wing attached to that Red Bull, which is going to make it very easy to not very easy, very difficult I should say, to get himself through the corners, but maybe a bit faster on the straights. But unfortunately, Australia not got too many straights there to try and get yourself through the order there. Here comes Brooksy now round the couple of corners. Let's hope he can get himself back to the pit lane. lane and get that front wing sorted. Percy sets the fastest lap of the race. Serious Mushroom has been overtaken there by Beat. Now down the main straight in towards turn 1 we go. The Alfa Romeo now ahead of the Haas for the time being. Brooksy has got himself back to the pit lane, which is at least good news indeed, so he can try and get himself that sorted now on that Red Bull, get that front wing replaced. Styles and Percy's really charging through the order on the first flying lap there after the safety car's gone back in. The Red Bull's already up into P10 and back in the points paying positions as well. Great stuff indeed. Swanshanks picks up another penalty as well. Off the circuit goes Swanshanks there. What's happened there to the Alfa Romeo is he's alright. He needs to get himself reversed there, but he's off the circuit. Safety car is being called out as well. So safety car is back out, and you can see Brooksy coming down the pit lane. The safety car is going to be out in front of him actually. So the safety car is out in front of Brooksy there, but I think Brooksy should be able to get himself through past the safety car. Thankfully, Swanshanks there has no front wing, same as the Red Bull we saw on the last lap, and now is going to have to come back to the pit lane to try and replace that front wing as soon as he can. The safety car has just come back in, so the safety car queue shouldn't take too long to form back up. I think we're going to have a pit stop there for Swanshanks and for and Brooksy there is he just come out the pit lane, hasn't he? So he'll be on trying to catch up to the safety car queue as quickly as possible. But there we go then, the hard compound tyres on the Red Bull. And there we go, we've had 2 safety cars in 8 laps. It's not looking good, unfortunately. Well, fortunately, it's been for, as Lucas Percy is back in the pit lane again. But like I was saying, fortunately, it's been for individual incidents rather than any on-track racing incidents. Yeah, unfortunate there for Swanshanks and for Brooksy on the last lap as well. Pit lane activity, once again, looks like Lucas Percy is going back onto the hard compound tyres. So he's decided to switch back onto the hards that he started the race on. So that is him going back onto the original starting tyre there for the Red Bull driver. Interesting call there indeed. Danny's carried on. Sorry, I was going to say Danny's done the same, but Danny has carried on the hard compound tyres after pitting under the first safety car. Vintage is back out on the hards, as is Styles as well. And now we've got Swanshanks there onto the soft compound tyres. Brooksy, they're coming around at the final couple of corners there to catch up to the queue. So it won't be too long before we get ourselves back underway once again here in Melbourne. But yeah, interesting there from Codemasters there, from EA there, trying to bring out the safety car there at that point. I think there was just a bit of wing damage there for the Alfa Romeo Swanshanks, but for some reason the safety car was called out for that wing damage, and I think it was quite a severe shunt, to be fair. So it's lucky Swanshanks is still in the race, to be honest, but good stuff that he is. And Brooksy now will be able to catch up to the safety car queue, and we'll be back underway. KD's going to have to do a second safety car restart here. Which is quite interesting indeed there for KD. I'm sure he'll be happy that he's in the lead of the race, but he'll be wanting to be able to create a gap there to ACM Auto on the hard compound tyres compared to the 8-lap-old medium compound tyres on the Aston Martin for the time being. But will we see any more pit activity on this lap? We've got Brooksy there to come round to try and catch up with the queue, so hopefully he'll be in next lap to get ourselves back underway. But there we go, KD currently leading the way. ACM Auto there up into P2 there. Those two drivers yet to pit. The same for Siege in P3, Kaido in P4, Stickers Muck there on the hards in P5 as well, Bannister in P8 on the mediums, Dan Murphy on the hards in P7 as well. Beat has pitted from P8, so he's the highest runner to make a pit stop. Serious Mushroom in P9 hasn't pitted either just yet. Same for Chewy in P12. Pit activity for Kaz this time. So Kaz, as Lucas Percy's been disqualified for blocking the pit lane. No, Brooksy, well, I'm not quite sure what's happened to either of those drivers, so they both been disqualified. I think Brooksy and Lucas Percy been disqualified there for whatever they were up to, so they all, unfortunately, they're not being able to take part in the rest of this race. Kaz is on to the medium compound tyres now, and that is them ready to get going now in this event. So yeah, unfortunately for Lucas Percy and Brooksy, then they've just ruined their own races, but that's them done and dusted. They're not going to be able to take part in the Australian Grand Prix anymore. So there we go. KD there is going to be happy about that, I suppose, because Lucas Percy probably had the pace there to win this race, but now he's got one less challenger. Now he's got Immortal there to deal with, and a couple of others there, but like I said, I think Lucas Percy, they probably had the pace there to win this one, but has got himself disqualified, so that is him out of this race. Kaz is in the pit, has just made the pit stop there, so hopefully he can catch up the queue for the restart of this lap and get ourselves back underway. And there we go, ready to get ourselves back underway for the restart of this race. Kaz was trying to enter the pit lane there, but like I said, he is on the pit limit, or he's trying to get himself sorted on the pit limiter there, so you can overtake under the safety car actually into the pit lane, but like I said, I probably shouldn't say that, to be honest, but no, you can actually get past people in the pit lane entry under safety car, but Kaz is trying to get himself slowed down to get into the pits. We have seen the Ferrari driver trying to get himself into the pit lane before. It is a bit of a slow process for Kaz, unfortunately, but he's trying to get himself used to the pit lane simulator, or pit lane entry simulator, whatever it is. But now we've got the safety car back in, we can get ourselves back underway, and KD going to get ourselves restarted for lap 10. And there we go. Got to get ourselves ready to get going once again for the Aston Martin driver. I don't think he's not gone as early as he did last time. The safety car is now in the pit lane, so he can go whenever he wants to now. But now around the penultimate corner, let's see what he's going to do here in the start of this race, or restart of this race once again. It's going to be a late call indeed, I think, for the Aston Martin this time. He has gone now, but he's gone a bit. He's gone a bit late there, and I think AC Immortal's going to try and pounce on the back of him now. Nope, he's not. He's going to try and warm up his tyres instead. But their Siege going to be looking very comfortable indeed, but not as good as a restart as the previous one for KD. But he's still carried on, kept that lead. Good stuff indeed for KD in the Aston Martin. AC Immortal there slotting himself up into P2. Very nice indeed. Siege there carried on in P4. Moves down the back of the order. Gamer's back up into P9. Getting himself ahead of Serious Mushroom, and Swanshanks on the soft compound tyres has got past Vintage as well for P14. Chewy and Danny switching places into turns 4 and 5 as well. Now Danny up into P12 on the hard compound tyres. Not looking too bad for Danny at this stage of the race there as well. On the freshest hards, second freshest hards, of course, Vintage and Styles there on the hards as well. But we'll have a look and see now. Reflection can he get himself past Mushroom up into the points paying positions there for the McLaren driver. It's going to be close indeed as they go round towards the the middle chicane, and they've no move being made. Unfortunately, Swanshanks and Chewy there switching places as well. Chewy there just letting the Alfa Romeo's off the circuit there. Not quite sure what happened to Swanshanks there, but he's off the circuit, and that is not looking good indeed for Swanshanks. He's down to a P17. He's got a yellow flag out for his troubles. I'm not quite sure what happened there to Swanshanks. It looks like he's back underway, thankfully, which is good news indeed. Beat and Bannister, and there's an Aston Martin in there as well. Not quite sure what is going on here between Gamer and the Aston Martins. It seems like they're having a few troubles. Well, one driver not having any troubles is KD out in the lead of this race. I should say one of the Aston Martins having a great time. But I'm not quite sure what happened to Gamer there. He had a bit of a problem there getting through the last couple of turns. Siege and Kydell switching places. Siege now down the order. Sick as muck there, just trying to warm up those tyres. It look like in the background. Dan Murphy up into P6. He's trying to get himself past Beat, but Beat coming around the outside into turn 3. Any moves being made. Here comes Danny and Serious Mushroom off the circuit there, but he's managed to keep himself going down into P12 now. Unfortunately is Mushroom. Reflection's got himself up in the points, and Gamer has got himself past Reflection as well, up into P9. So Bannister now the next target for the Aston Martin driver. I'm not quite sure what happened to Gamer there. He seemed to have a bit of a problem trying to go around the penultimate corner there. He's got himself sorted now, but now he needs to get himself after the Alpine car of Bannister now for the next position, the next move. All down the inside into the chicane. This is a very strange place to run overtake, but Sick as Muck has tried to go for it anyway. I'm not quite sure if Siege has got any problems there. He must have some sort of issue there on the car, unfortunately, for the Williams driver there. He's dropped down 2 places on this lap, and you can see Kydell is already disappearing off into the distance now as well. Dan Murphy right behind the Williams car here. We'll have a look and see if there's any issues there we can see on board from the Williams. Is in the pit lane, so he might have some wing damage there, unfortunately for Siege. DRS has been enabled there. Siege is in the pit lane, so he's called it a day on those medium compound tyres already. Up the order, Beat has got himself past Dan Murphy up into P5 for the time being now. Good stuff indeed from the Alfa Romeo driver, of course, having made that earlier stop as well for the medium compound tyres under the first safety car, I believe it was. So now he's got himself ready to get going after Sick as Muck as well. Within DRS range, Gamers now up into P7. He's got himself past Bannister, and now can try and set his sights on catching up to the top 6 as well. Into the pits, like I said, was Siege. So Siege there, it looks like it was a strategy call there from the Williams driver. I'm not quite sure if he overheated those medium compound tyres or if there was another issue, but he's onto the hard compound tyres now, looking like he's got himself back underway. So hopefully he can get himself back in this race further down the order. KD there's got himself a very nice gap already. Indeed, he's got a 1.4 second gap there to AC Immortal on those hard compound tyres. Is the Alfa Romeo driver, Alpha Tauri driver, I should say. But now without outside of that DRS range for the time being, Bannister and Reflection switching places into the chicane entry. We go yellow flags. It's for Kydell. I think Kydell dropping down the order. The exit of the chicane. He might have had a problem there on the chicane exit. That's cost him there as well. And I think Chewy has had the same problem as well. Chewy dropping down to P16, unfortunately for the Haas driver. Down the inside goes Kaz. Kaz looking to make a late move indeed, looks like it on Swanshanks there, but Swanshanks there on the soft compound tyres trying to get himself back past Vintage as well. Hungry Styles has checked out this battle ahead, and now Danny is under. We're trying to get the move there on the next group of cars of Serious Mushroom. There into turn 1 we go. Here comes Beat. Can he get himself past the Mercedes of Sick as Muck to get himself up the order? He's going to have the DRS, of course, in towards turn 3. Is he going to go late on the brakes to make the move? No, he's going to have to stay behind the Mercedes for the time being. Kaido is in P5, Dan Murphy P6, and Gamer in P7, all in this battle as well. So they're all bunching up behind the Mercedes driver of Sick as Muck for the time being. Reflection there has got himself past Bannister, trying to keep up with this queue as well. But Bannister there can try and keep him honest as well as Serious Mushroom and Danny in the next battle. Gamer picks up the next penalty of the race. Unfortunately for Gamer there, that is not good news for him, as he's got past Dan Murphy there. I think Dan just letting the medium run up of Gamer go through, because of course he's on the hard combat tyres. It's Dan Murphy looking to go longer in the first stint. Kaido there up into P5 and Beat now trying to get himself past Sick as Muck once again now with DRS down towards turn 14. Can he make any moves here? Still no moves unfortunately just yet. It doesn't look like, unfortunately, at this stage. But now down towards down the main straight, I'm sure there'll be some sort of attempt from the Alfa Romeo there to get himself past Serious Mushroom and Bannister switching places. Bannister down the order into dropping down to P10 there. Bannister and Serious Mushroom and Danny there up in this battle. So One Shanks has had a spin. Sick as Muck is round. Oh no, he's not round. He's going around the final corner, but he's been passed already by Beat, who's now got the DRS there on the previously from the Mercedes as well, and now he's got himself trying to get himself away from the Mercedes car. Kaido is all over the back of the Mercedes as well. Now here comes X Gamer also trying to get a move on as well, but this is going to be very tight indeed between Kaido and X Gamer, I think, as well, around the outside. Oh, that is a bit of an early turn in there from X Gamer. That is not good news, unfortunately, for the Aston Martin driver. The Kaido was there on the inside. He had plenty of room there, did Gamer, to go around the outside. But that has unfortunately cost him a few positions indeed, and the spin, unfortunately, for the Aston Martin driver, and that is not good news, unfortunately, for Gamer there. He's off the circuit there, and now I think Kaz is going to be very interested in the back of this battle as well. Danny's off the circuit. Danny's had front wing damage, and that front wing has completely fallen off, as Vintage has gone off the circuit as well. Nope. It's Gamer, unfortunately. Gamer's off the circuit as well, which is not good news, unfortunately, for the Aston Martin outfit. He's dropping down the order. He's had a spin there at the exit of turn 6, and now he's going to have to get himself back to the pit lane as well. Unfortunately for Gamer, it's not going too well at this stage of the race. Danny as well has got to get himself back to the pit lane, as he's just letting Swan Shanks through as well. But yeah, it seems like a few drivers are having a few issues there. The Aston Martin and the Mercedes having difficulties at this stage of the race. Now Siege, of course, Siege has had actually done the scheduled stop there, hasn't he? He switched from the mediums to the hard compound tyres, so he's actually not going to have to come into the pits. KD picks up a penalty, unfortunately for KD. That is his first penalty, and the first penalty there for the race leader. He's got a 2-second gap at the moment. Bannister and Vintage. Hungry Styles is off the circuit, I think, at the exit of the final turn. He's dropping down the order there to P14. Danny's in the pit lane. He's got himself back into the pits, thankfully. The same for Gamer as well. Gamer's back in the pit lane also. So they'll get themselves sorted with the new front wing change. Onto the soft compound tyres goes Danny. Beat has got a penalty there. Yellow flags in sector 1. We've got yellow flags in sector 1. It's for Siege. No, it's not for Siege. It's for Styles. I think, is it for Styles? Yeah, it's for Styles. He just needs to keep himself calmed down and keep those tyres, keep the tyres down, temperatures down, and he can get himself back underway in this race. But like I said, I think one thing we've seen from Styles, and I think this is it exactly there, is that he gets a bit hot-headed when he does have a spin, and it goes to his head, and it causes more issues there throughout the race, unfortunately, for Styles. So he just needs to make sure he keeps the tyre temperatures down before he gets the car reset and restarted, because he just needs to. Those tyres now are going to be very hot indeed after a few spins. ACM Water picks up a penalty as well. The top 3 have all got penalties here, actually, which is not good news there for those drivers there. He's got trying to get themselves around this circuit there without penalties. It seems like it's going to be quite difficult indeed. We're on to lap 17 of 58 there, so we're going through nicely. And there we go, then ACM Water there is still maintaining that 2-second gap for the time being. Down the back of the order, here comes Kaido trying to get himself past Sick as Muck there. Around the outside goes the Mercedes, and they're going to be close proximity indeed, as they go round now down towards turn 3. Kaido, sorry, has got the DRS there, of course, as they go down towards turn 3, but Sick as Muck doesn't want to yield there, and he's kept the position there ahead of the McLaren driver. Good stuff indeed. And now the other teammate, his teammate of Reflection, is now all over the back of Kaido as well. Will there be some team orders here from the drivers there to let the the other drivers through or not, but I'm not quite sure. We'll have to find out if there's going to be any McLaren. Is Zach Brown's going to be on the radio telling the drivers there to switch places? I think there might be some team orders here as well. Here comes Reflection now down around the inside of his teammate Kydell, then up into P5 goes Reflection. And on the fresher tyres at the moment as well compared to Kydell, only by 4 laps though, but I think we might see, I'm not sure if we're going to be seeing the medium compound tyres start to drop off around this stage of the race, and then the hards come back into favour, but at the moment it seems to be okay. Off the circuit goes there's an Alpine there, an Alpine, it's Styles. I think Styles is off the circuit there in P17. Unfortunately for Styles, he's not going well this race, and like I was saying earlier, he seems to when he has a problem, it gets excessively worse because he has just doesn't want to keep himself calm and cool down. Styles in the pit lane there. Unfortunately for Styles, that is him. It's him out of the session as well. Here comes Reflection this time. Into turns 1 and 2. Can't get past the Mercedes once again. This is not good news there for the McLaren drivers. They're going to be bunched up, as well as Dan Murphy there right behind in P7 as well. But I'm not quite sure whether the McLaren drivers have really realised the battle they've got to face to try and get past this Mercedes. It's going to be a tough one indeed, but they need to get themselves on the way very soon to try and get themselves further up the order. Unfortunately, Styles, they're out of the race there on lap 17, sorry, it's the same. So that is him done and dusted there in this race. Danny sets the fastest lap of the race there. Good stuff indeed from Danny. That is him currently onto lap 18. There he's in P15, but he's on the soft compound tyres. So looking to go as fast as he possibly can there for the time being. Siege picks up another penalty. Unfortunately for Siege, that is his second penalty, I think, of the evening, which is not good news indeed for the Williams driver. But he's still trying to get himself back up the order. Of course, making the different strategy sort of try and work in this one. He's on to 5-lap old hard compound tyres now, but he did pit on lap 11, I think, or lap 12, I think it was, to try and get himself maybe a bit more of a clear area in this race, and then try and get himself through the order later on when the other pit stops start to happen there from the drivers ahead of him. So not all doom and gloom just yet for Siege. I think he can get himself back in the points paying positions. Here comes Reflection once again. Can he make any moves this time on Sick as Muck into turn 1? He's got the DRS this time. Around the outside he goes this time as well. Oh, there's contact between the two of them. He's not being forced wide there by Sick as Muck there. Has the McLaren driver. I think Sick as Muck just needs to potentially give up the place. He was on the hard compound tyres compared to the medium compound tyres, and he doesn't want to yield just yet from the McLaren team, because he can see the McLaren's in his wing mirrors probably. But as Gamer there, I think... Gamer in the pit lane? No, I think he was just getting himself sorted there. But Reflection there, unfortunately, he's not been able to get past this Mercedes. He's really battling his Sickers up, trying to keep that position, and he's done a good job there holding on to P4 for the time being. But I think it'll be only a few moments before Reflection decides to put the ERS on. Well, he's not got much ERS though, because that red light is flashing on the back of that McLaren. Try and put the power down and try and get himself through up into P4 as well for the McLaren outfit. But currently no moves being made down at the front, sorry, I should say. The gap is down to 1.3 seconds between Immortal and KD, so I think the mediums are starting to drop off potentially at this stage of the race, which is why we might be seeing some pit stops very soon from the medium runners, so we'll have to wait and see when that's going to happen as well, very soon in my opinion, in the next 5 laps or so. Now on to lap 20 we go. We've got very wide there for Reflection. That is going to be very bad news indeed for both the McLarens there as well. Reflection, they're trying to let his teammate through, but it's costed them both a lot of time here as well as they go through now down onto the main straight. Dan Murphy's going to get interested in this battle as well, as he's trying to get himself past both the McLarens, trying to get himself after the Mercedes as well. But Reflection now slotting into P. Oh, that was very dangerous indeed there from Reflection, almost cutting off Dan Murphy as well, and this is costing them both massive time. We can see Serious Mushroom now in the background as well. Here comes Dan Murphy down the inside of Reflection. He's got the move done and dusted into turn 3. Reflection is still there. No, he's not. He dropped down behind the AlphaTauri at this stage of the race there. Unfortunately, Reflection there, that horrible final turn, penultimate turn, really cost him there, and it's lost him 2 places there to his teammate and now to Dan Murphy as well. They've lost over 1.5 seconds there to Kydell and to Stickers Muck as well, which is not good news there. All that time lost, as Danny, I think it's Danny having a problem there. He's at turn 1 and 2. He's at the exit of the second turn, I should say. He's had a spin. He got himself back underway, thankfully indeed. But good stuff indeed. Right, good stuff from Danny's got himself back underway. But KD, like I said, Kaido and Sick as Muck switching places once again now into turn 14. No move made, but there's still some attempts there. Vintage is getting himself passed up into P9 as Vintage. Good stuff indeed from the Williams driver. But here comes Bannister trying to come back at him. We'll come back to that battle here as here comes Kaido, this time on the Mercedes driver once again. This battle is resuming, and now we go down the main straight once again. Here comes Kaido. Can he make any moves? Not just yet. It doesn't look like Dan Murphy's got himself up into P7, P6 I should say. So he's looking comfortable indeed at the moment behind these two on the hard compound tyres as well. Here comes Dan trying to make a move there on Kaido. Can he make any moves into turn 3? Going to be late on the brakes? No, not quite. Kaido keeps hold of that P5. He's looking at the back, looking in his mirrors, looking forward towards Circus Mark. He's looking all over the place. Is Kaido at this stage of the race? He's got drivers all around him. Chewy into the pit lane. He's onto the medium compound tyres. Is the Haas driver. So that is him sorted there on the strategy, I think, to try and get to the end of this race. Their game is going to come down the main straight. You can see Chewy coming out of the pit lane now. Danny's calling back to the pit lane as well, so he's managed to get himself back to the pits. He's into the wall there on the pit entry. I'm not quite sure if that's going to cause any damage there to Mercedes. Hopefully not. But there we go. Into the pit lane he goes. Dan Murphy in reflection, switching places. Dan Murphy, as reflections off the circuit there. I'm not quite sure what happened there to reflection. Serious Mushroom might be interested in getting a move here as well. Up into P7 goes the Haas driver. Good stuff indeed from him, as he's done a very quiet, consistent race so far in this one. 22 laps have been completed. We're now onto medium compound tyres goes Danny. So now he's going to try and get himself a bit further in the next stint. Here comes Kaido once again. He's all over the back there of the Mercedes driver once again. This time now down the main straight. Can he make any moves? It's going to be close indeed. DRS of course available there to the McLaren and to the AlphaTauri behind. Into turn 1, we're going to go down the inside, it looks like, for Kaido. He's made the move. He's gone late on the brakes indeed. He's off the circuit, and I think that's going to be him having to yield the place there too. Or he's off the circuit completely there as well now, and into the wall as well for the McLaren driver. That is not good news. Trying to get the car turned around, and these lost places there to Kaz and to Vintage as well. Vintage now up into P10. Kaz has got himself up into P9, past Vintage as well. Good stuff indeed, as Bannister there claims P8 for the time being. But yeah, that spin there for Kaido, unfortunate there for the Belgian driver. He's had a bit of an issue there on the grass there at the exit of turn 1 and in towards turn 2 as well, and unfortunately that's cost him the place in this race. Here comes Dan Murphy now. He is the next driver to try and get past Sick as Muck, but it doesn't look like it's coming up fruitful for the drivers who try and get past Sick as Muck in this race. We're on, like I said, we're on to lap 22, just about to start lap 23 as well. But now around the turns 11 and 12 chicane, here comes Dan Murphy once again to try and get himself up into P4. This game told us rain and it's dry. Wrong setup, says Serious Mushroom. Not Serious Mushroom, sorry, he says Styles. Unfortunately for Styles, yeah, like I said, he's out of this race, retiring in the pits. Bannister and Kaz switching places now. Kaz up into P8, and that is the Ferrari driver getting up into the points pen positions as well. Vintage there going late on the brakes there into the next corner, but Bannister has managed to keep the car under control. But now I think the medium compound tyres are starting to phase out of this race at this stage. I think the mediums are starting to be the wrong tyre to be on, because I think they're getting towards the end of their lifespan. We'll have to wait and see when the drivers do start to make their calls to come into the pit lane. But at the moment, no harm done for the drivers who are staying out on the medium compound tyres. Well, 22 laps is the longest we've got on the current stint on the medium compound tyres. That is the full race distance so far. Or technically we're 22 and a bit laps now, isn't it? Because we're on to lap 23. But so far there's no pit stops there for the likes of KD, the likes of Serious Mushroom, and the likes of Bannister or Kaido there on the medium compound tyres from the start of this race. So I think they might be looking to go onto the hard compound tyres towards the end of the race. We'll have to find out if that's the right call, but I think we've done 23 laps, so we've got another 25 laps to go. No, we haven't. We've got 35 laps to go, I think. So yeah, I think we've still got time there, but for the medium runners to carry on for a little bit longer. Although saying that, AC Immortal is now within range of. We've got a yellow flag for Kaido. Kaido off the circuit again, unfortunately at the chicane. He's dropped down behind Swanshanks as well now. He's got himself back underway though, thankfully. But yeah, like I was saying, like I was saying before, KD is now within danger there, because we can see AC Immortal has got himself within the 1 second window of the Aston Martin for the lead of this race. That is going to be close indeed between the AlphaTauri there and the Aston Martin once again. We saw that in Singapore. Oh no, off the circuit goes AC Immortal. He's off the circuit. He's out of the race. That is a big smash indeed there for Immortal there from the race lead. That is a safety car, and that is not good news there. We were just saying that AC Immortal might be able to get himself back in this race like he did in Saudi Arabia, but no, not like that. Unfortunately, he's out of the race here. Had a big smash indeed at the exit of turn 5 and turn 6, I should say. And that is him out of this race completely. A big smash there for the driver there who was in P2, and that is him completely gone from this event there. That is our next retirement, unfortunately, because it seems like the drivers there are facing a race of attrition right here. KD now will be very happy indeed, I think, because he's going to not have any pressure from behind. Well, not until the safety car restart anyway, but now he might be able to take the opportunity to make a pit stop as well. I think if I was Danny, I would make sure I stayed out, because then he can get himself back on the lead lap as well. Hopefully Danny can hear me, and he can stay out as well. So fingers crossed he will be able to carry on in this race and get himself back up into the onto the lead lap as well. He has done, which is good stuff indeed. KD is into the pit lane from the lead of the race. Let's see what he's going to go on to. He's onto the hard compound tyres. The same, I think, will be the same for Beat, but I think KD will be able to come out and retain the race lead, which will be fantastic news indeed for KD after the difficult first stint there, trying to get himself through on this next restart. He's going to have 3 safety car restarts at this stage of the race. Into the pits comes Sticker Smuck and Dan Murphy, and Reflection and Serious Mushroom as well. Kaz is going to carry on as well. It looks like Kaz is carrying on, so he's going to be out in front of a few of these drivers here, I suppose, out in front of Sticker Smuck. So up into P3 for the standings at the moment is the Ferrari driver. KD there is caught up to the safety car queue, so we're going to have a bit of a longer safety car, I think, on this one, because of course Danny there is trying to catch up to the safety car queue, and he's only just been able to unlap himself, or get himself past the safety car, I should say. So a big smash indeed there for Immortal there. Championship leader is out of this race there with that big collision, unfortunately, for Immortal there. So that is relinquished the opportunity now for KD to get himself. Oh, is Bannister having a spin there, and that is going to cost him a lot of places indeed on the exit of the pits. Unfortunately for Bannister, dropping down to P13. More moves being made. I'm not quite sure what is going on here between these drivers. Siege is off the circuit as well at the exit of turn 2. And needs to try and get himself spun around. He's got a front wing damage there as well. The end plate is missing there on those tyres, unfortunately for Siege, as AC Immortal has left the session. Unfortunately there for Immortal there, he was a victim of turn 5 and 6. They were on to lap 25 of 58, so we're almost at halfway. Well, we're about 4 laps away from halfway, but unfortunately that big smash there indeed for Immortal there, puts himself out of this race, and that is now 5 drivers retired from this Grand Prix. Well, 4 drivers retired and 1 disqualified, unfortunately for Percy, but there we go. It's a big shame there indeed, but hopefully we can get that sorted after this race. But there we go then. We're just going to try and get ourselves everyone caught up to the safety car queue, and we can get ourselves back underway. I think Siege might be having to come into the pit lane to get that front wing replaced as well. Unfortunately for the Williams driver, that's going to drop him down behind Gamer and behind Danny as well. Into the pits goes Kaz. So Kaz calling it a day on medium compound tyres. Can he go onto the hard compound tyres to get to the end of this race? I think he might be able to. Into the pit lane he goes, and onto the medium compound tyres once again. So I'm not sure if the medium compound tyres, will they be able to get to the end of this race? We'll have to find out. Can Kaidel and Chewy get themselves past Kaz as well in this pit stop phase? Yeah, I think they can. Bannister, I think, with that spin has cost him a few more places as well. Unfortunately with Bannister there, he's dropped down. The order Siege is back in the pit lane, so he has got himself back into the pits there to sort out the front wing issue there for the Williams driver. Gamer's going to get up into P13 at his expense, unfortunately for Siege, and I think Danny might be able to get himself through into P14 as well. But Siege still battling on in this race, which is good to see. He's onto the medium compound tyres now, so he's looking to get himself back underway as he comes back out in P15 as well now. So yeah, we'll see what the Williams driver can do. Can he get himself back up the order? I'm sure he can. We'll see what pace he's got as well. Now KD has got himself the lead. Well, he's carried on in the lead. He's now onto the hard compound tyres, as is Beat in P2. So both those drivers, I think, will be trying to get to the end of the race. Sickers Muck there has gone onto the medium compound tyres, as is Dan Murphy in P4, and I think they'll be much quicker indeed than the top two at the first stage of the safety car restart. But will they be able to get themselves past is the other question. Reflections on the soft compound tyres, so Reflections will be very quick indeed. We saw him start on the soft compound tyres and gain some places, so let's see what he can do there in the next restart for him as well. But currently, he's going to be restarting in this race in P5 on the soft compound tyres, which is probably quite a good idea, I think. Will Siege pit again? I think Siege might come back in the pit here and go onto the hard compound tyres once again to try and get himself to the end of this race. I think that might be the call there from Siege. Now he's got a front wing there back intact, but unfortunately there for Siege, he's going to be a bit further down the order than he wants to be, which we were accustomed to seeing Siege, of course, at the top of the order, and of course he is very capable of being at the top of the order as well. But unfortunately, this race so far, we're only halfway through or so, but unfortunately this race so far is not going his way. But we'll see if he can turn that around there and switch it back into his favour, as Chewy and Kaz switching places. I'm not quite sure what's going on there between Chewy and Kaz, because Kaz there should not be overtaking there under the safety car, of course. Into the pits goes Siege, so once again he is, I think I'm right, I think change it back to the hard compound tyres. We'll have a quick break, 1 second, one toilet break under the... Right then, Siege has pitted back onto the hard compound tyres, so I think the hards, that indicates that the hards should go to the end from here. We'll be expecting that to be the case, because of course they are a very durable tyre as well. But let's have a look now and see when we can get ourselves restarted. I think Siege hopefully will catch up to the safety car queue on this lap, so we should be able to get ourselves going under green flags once again from lap 28 onwards. Then we'll have 31 laps to complete. But there we go then. We're going to have 31 laps. We're almost halfway, like I was saying. But KD, KD, I keep getting all the Ks mixed up, so I thought KD and Kaido. But KD there will lead us away once again for the next restart, the third restart there for the Aston Martin driver. And he's getting very familiar with these restarts as well, but he's now on the hard compound tyres, so it'll be a bit of a longer, or maybe a bit of a longer warm-up process there for the hard compound tyres compared to the medium runners and the soft runner of Reflection as well behind in P5. But now the safety car has been relinquished. We can get ourselves back underway very, very soon for some green flag running. Here comes KD now. We're ready to restart this race. I think he might be able to. Will he be able to go early, or will he have to stay and go late? I think he's gone now. I think he's already gone. He's gone before the exit, or before the entry to the penultimate turn there, which is a very good start indeed. It might catch the drivers behind unawares. Beat has managed to keep up with him, I think, on this occasion, but Sick as Muck, I think, has dropped back. Same for Dan Murphy and maybe Reflection as well. I think Reflection had a bit of a difficult start there. Beat's trying to warm up those tyres down the main straight, but he's now got himself underway. Sick as Muck there will be trying to get himself through on the medium compound tyres as well. But here comes the Alfa Romeo. Can he get himself up into P1? We might see a move there for the lead of the race very soon indeed. If KD can't get outside that 1 second window, I think the pace of KD there will start to unfold there once the tyres have warmed up as well. We'll see him back up into his best and back up into a very commanding lead. Sick as Muck picking up a penalty. Here comes a game around the outside of a banister, trying to go around the outside into turn 4. I don't think that's a place to make a move, as we did see somebody pick up a penalty there. I'm not quite sure who it was. I think it might have been KD. Yeah, I think it might have been KD. Unfortunately for KD, he's had a bit of an issue there, but nonetheless he's still out in the lead of the race. Kaido and Swanshank switching places there down the back straight, and Kaido now up into P8 there on the hard compound tyres, looking good indeed at this time in the race. They're trying to get himself back up the order. Elsewhere the gap has resumed, unfortunately for Reflection. He's not had a great start there on those soft compound tyres. He's lost a second to the medium runners ahead of him. The likes of Dan Murphy and Six Mark have managed to check out in the distance. Here comes X Gamer there on Bannister. He's got himself the move up into P12 there, has Gamer in the Aston Martin, trying to recover his race there after a bit of a difficult first half. Now trying to get past Kaz as well into the penultimate turn there, and now down the main straight. I'm sure trying to make a move there before turn 1. Can he make any moves as he goes now onto the main straight? Here comes Gamer. Off the circuit goes Danny, though. Danny's had a spin at the exit of the final turn there, turn 17 I think it is. He's got the car back underway there. Beat has picked up another penalty. That is not good news there for the Alfa Romeo driver, because that is now 6 seconds for penalties for him. Danny's got himself back underway. Kaz and Gamer are still battling away. Here comes Gamer there up into P11 now. Up the order there goes the Aston Martin there, trying to get himself back in the points pen positions. Danny has not got any damage, I don't think. Yeah, it looks like the car is okay there from my screen anyway, so hopefully Danny can carry on in this race without having to make an extra stop. Yellow flags for Siege, and yellow flags for Swanshanks as well. Swanshanks is off the circuit. Not quite sure what's happened to Swanshanks as well. Danny's got through there past Siege. Swanshanks has left the session, but Swanshanks is off the circuit here somewhere. He's at the same place as Kiki on the very first couple of laps there for Kiki, but now Siege, not Siege, Swanshanks is the next victim of turn 5 and 6, and turn 6 I should say, and that is Swanshanks out of the race. There's now 14 runners left, and a safety car is being called out once again. So KD, I think it's going to be having to do with the 4th safety car restart of the night, which is not good news indeed for KD, unfortunately for him, but he'll have to battle on as it is at this stage, unfortunately for him. But that is not good news for any of the drivers. Their Reflection is back in the pit lane, so he decided to call it a day there on the soft compound tyres after only 4 laps. Didn't have a good restart there, did Reflection, but he's managed to get himself back to the pit lane now to go onto a set of medium compound tyres. It will drop him down the order, but hopefully he can get himself back in this race afterwards as well. But fingers crossed, we can see some more action. Into the pits goes Siege once again. Danny there is carrying on, so Danny's not got any damage there just yet. Well, not got any damage there from the incident we saw at the exit of the final turn on the last lap, so he's managed to carry on in this race, which is good news indeed. Siege is back in the pits, and like I said, back on. He's got another front wing change there for the Williams driver, and he's back onto the medium compound tyres as well. So can the mediums get to the end from here? We've got to do 28 laps or so once the safety car has come in, so it might be a bit of a stretch. It could be possible. We saw the mediums in the first stint get to about 23, 24 laps or so, so it is possible to get to around that stage. So we'll have to wait and see if Siege is going to be able to go to the end on those tyres as well. Now coming out of the pit lane at this stage. Serious Mushroom, more safety cars, says Serious Mushroom as well. Yeah, this is number 4. We're on lap 30 of 58. So I think, like I said, I'm not quite sure if it's the same on this game. If it does cap out at 5, but we might get to the limit on 5 if it is the case. Almost into the back of Chewy goes Gamer there. I'm not sure what Gamer's up to. He seems to be a bit eager to get ourselves restarted in this race, but of course we've got to wait for Siege first to catch up to the safety car queue, and then. We've got Swanshanks there. Apologies to all the drivers just having no luck with the setup tonight there. Looks like yeah, like I said, Swanshanks there was claimed by the wall at the exit of turn 6 as well. Like exactly the same situation we saw with Kiki. We saw AC Immortal go off completely at turn 6 as well. So it seems like turn 6 has been the problem corner for most of the drivers tonight. But nonetheless, they haven't any problem just yet for KD, for Beat, for Sick as Muck, for Dan Murphy, and for quite a few others there, thankfully. But down to 14 runners there out of the 20 that started this race. It is a bit of a calamity there so far, only at the halfway point in this one as well, or just over the halfway point as well. Kaz is on the soft compound tyres. Bannister is switching from the hards, I think, to the medium compound tyres. He's been held in the pits though. No, he hasn't. He has jumped out of the pit lane ahead of Kaz. So there we go then. Off the circuit goes Sick as Muck there. I'm not quite sure what's going on there, unless he's trying to let Dan Murphy through. But at the moment, it's going to be Dan Murphy, who's currently, if it finishes this way, he would be winning the race on the penalty situation. Serious Mushroom will be in P2, and then we might have Kydell there in P3. But of course, there's still plenty of laps to go. We're going to hopefully be back underway there for some green flag running there at the end of this lap. So stay tuned. We'll be there very soon, hopefully. To get ourselves back underway here in Australia. Like I said, it seems to be it has been a race of attrition. Like I was saying, I think even more than Belgium, to be honest, because Belgium's usually the one that we see a lot more drivers retire at, because it's so much more fast-paced, even than this Melbourne circuit as well. Belgium there is super quick indeed, and I think that's why some drivers get caught out. They make a mistake and then they ruin their races. But I think Australia is quite similar there in that sense, because you can see the drivers there just having a few issues. They're trying to get themselves around the circuit and to the finish line. But at the moment we're still underway. We've got 14 runners still to go. Hopefully we'll be able to finish with at least 10 runners to get them the points. But nonetheless, we'll have to wait and see. KD is going to once again restart the race, the 4th time there for KD now. on those hard compound tyres. Let's see what he can do. Can you get the car underway as quickly as possible, and when's he going to go as well is the next question. I think he might have gone already. He's gone already as well, and he's caught out. Oh, he's not caught out, got beat or sick as muck, but he might have caught out Dan Murphy, Serious Mushroom there in P5. Kydell's got past Vintage already, and that is illegal, that is, so he has let Vintage go back through, but yeah, I'm not quite sure what, as Gamer's also got past Chewy as well into before the start finish line, I think, as well, so that might be looked at after the race as well if anybody wants to I'm not going to say anybody wants me to look into it, because I don't want to look into it. But there we go. There we go. So Beat now resumes their P2, but now Sigur's Muck there with a great restart has actually got all over the back there of the Alfa Romeo. Down the back, Reflection's got past Chewy there for P9. Here comes Danny as well. Danny trying to get round in turn 5. Oh, Siege round through as well. Chewy off the circuit there, and now the Alpine of Bannister is going to be all over the back of him also. Bannister getting through into P12 there. Chewy there just taking it easy there in turn 6 as well, because of course we've seen quite a few drivers there going off at turn 6, but Chewy now down to 13, I should say. Danny and Siege going through into P10 there. Siege back in the points, like I was saying. Good stuff indeed from Siege there after having a bit of a difficult first half of the race as well. The same for Gamer as well, but Gamer now back in the points. Good stuff indeed. The only drivers without penalties so far are Chewy, Kaz, Kydell, and then we've got Serious Rushman and Dan Murphy. Everybody else has got a penalty, at least one. There might be even more as well. So there we go. We'll have to wait and see how it's going to unfold. Siege has had a problem again, and he's off the circuit once again, and he's got wing damage once again, I think, as well. No, he's spun the car back round. No, he's having problems there trying to get the car restarted. Here goes Gamer on Kydell. Can he get himself past? He has got himself past already, very quickly indeed. Past the McLaren, I should say. But I think Gamer there might be. We'll have to wait and see. It's going to be touch and go, I think, to try and get themselves to the end of this race. Kaz trying to get himself past the Haas of Chewy there, up into P12 on the soft compound tyres. Siege is back in the pit lane. Siege has got a 5-second penalty, unfortunately, for speeding in the pit lane as well. Siege is retired in the pit lane, and that is unfortunately a pit and quit there for Siege there. So that is a big shame indeed for the Williams driver. Just wasn't going very well this race for him, unfortunately. So that is bad news indeed for him. But there goes Dan Murphy now. Dan Murphy trying to get himself after Sickers Muck. Down to 13 runners already, and we're only 33 laps in. This is not going too well there for most of the drivers. Has lost the 1 second window there to KD. That is not good news there for the Alfa Romeo driver, but it's great news indeed for the Aston Martin driver. Can he get himself as far into the distance as possible and try and check out now in this race? Bannister and Kaz switching places as Kaz has got through. Oh, big smash indeed there. What was that from Kaz? He completely ruined that chicane, or completely missed the chicane indeed. Bannister's off the circuit. Can he get himself back going again? Hopefully he can. He needs to get himself in first gear and go forwards. He has got himself going forwards now, but Bannister there with a massive shunt indeed from Kaz, and I think Kaz is definitely at fault for that one. DRS has been enabled now as Bannister's got himself back underway, but yeah, I'm not quite sure where he's going. He's going very slowly indeed, but he's not got any damage there for Bannister. So he needs to get himself back underway in this race and try and catch up to the queue. But yeah, unfortunately there it's just not going the way for Bannister at the moment. Yellow flag still for Bannister as well. He's not having a great time trying to get himself restarted in this race. I'm not quite sure what happened there between himself and Kaz, but Kaz, they're definitely at fault for that incident. So he just needs to carry on with the race, does Bannister, and get himself back underway in this event as Siege has left the session there in his anger as well. Out in front though, Beat has got himself back in that 1 second window, which is good news indeed for him. Sickers Muck has dropped outside of that one, out of that window there. 1.5 seconds now back to the Mercedes driver, so that is not good news for the Mercedes. So it's switched back around now in this order. The top two there are going to try and check out, I think, in the distance there with the DRS now for the Alfa Romeo, and now Sickers Muck are going to be under pressure from Dan Murphy there towards through turn 13 and now down towards turn 14 in the braking zone we go. Gamer's got himself past Vintage as well. Gamer up into P6 there. Good stuff indeed from Gamer after recovering very well in this race. But yeah, I'm not sure. We'll have to look at that incident once again, like I said, between Kaz and Bannister. But Bannister has got himself back underway, I think. I'm not quite sure if he has or not, to be honest, but fingers crossed he can get himself underway. Kaz, the Beat has got himself back in this order. He's going to be chasing down. He's actually chasing down KD for the race lead. Reflection and Kydell switching places now. Reflection back up into P8 there. 5 laps on those medium compound tyres. I think Kydell again with the team orders there. He knows what he's doing there with his team, and Zach Brown has been on the phone there to try and let Reflection through to try and attack the drivers ahead on the older tyres, so we'll have to wait and see. Will Reflection be able to get to the end on those medium compound tyres? We thought Siege might be able to, but we'll have to see if Reflection can do the same. Serious Mushroom there is up into P5. He's got X Gamer all over the back of him. X Gamer's off the circuit though. X Gamer's had a problem there at turn 5. Pushing a bit too hard there was Gamer there. He's dropped down to P10. He's got right end plate damage as well for the Aston Martin, unfortunately. So yeah, not good news indeed for the Aston Martin outfit. Hopefully he can get himself sorted. Bannister's off the circuit as well at turn 14. He's trying to get himself back underway, but there's a yellow flag. I think it's yellow flag actually for Bannister, not for Gamer. But Bannister there trying to get himself back underway, and he's not having a great time indeed. What is he doing? He's just stopped on the circuit there as Bannister. I'm not quite sure what's going on here. He stopped on the circuit there for Bannister, and I'm not quite sure what is going on here between himself and the Alpine car. If he's going to have technical difficulties or something there, something wrong with the car, to try and get himself back underway, hopefully. But yeah, I'm not quite sure what he's trying to do here. Off the circuit now. I think he's letting people through, which is nice, but I don't know why he didn't need to stop. I don't think he needed to carry on in this race to just get himself back in the order. As into the pits goes Gamer for the wing change here as well. I think he's going to have to get those tyres sorted as well. Onto what tyre is he going to go onto? He's going to go onto the onto medium compound tyres. It looks like Bannister has got himself back underway, but yeah, unfortunately he's now a lap down indeed, which is a big shame there for Bannister. He could have carried on in this race and got himself some points. I think in this one, even with the incident, we can see their Gamer back out on the pit lane, back out of the pit lane, I should say, and he's got a 5-second penalty for crossing the pit lane exit there on the crossing the white line on the pit lane exit. Unfortunately for Gamer, that is him done and dusted. As once again Bannister's having an issue trying to get himself sorted as well, and I think what he needs to do is be careful he doesn't cause a safety car for a needless incident there. Reflection's got himself past Vintage there, up into P6 there, and now trying to chase down Mushroom there for P5. Of course, Mushroom yet to get any penalties as well, which is good news indeed for Mushroom. Bannister gets a 3-second penalty for corner cutting, and has retired from the session there as well. So that is that's a safety car. So there we go. So there we go, our 5th safety car of the night. We are on to number 5. It's getting very late in the day now for me. I'm trying to get myself through without falling asleep now at this stage. Into the pits goes Serious Mushroom there from P5. Let's see what he's going to go on to now. He's on to the medium compound tyres. Like I was saying earlier, I don't think we're going to get 10 finishes, to be honest, at this stage of the race. Let's go, says Aston, says Ekraz in the comment section there, supporting, of course, the Aston Martin outfit. But at the moment, the Aston Martin is doing well. He has been leading the race for quite a long time as well, to be honest, as KD. But once again, the gap that they had, the gap that both KD and Beat had to P3 of Sick as Muck, and further down the order has now been wiped out because of the safety car that was caused by Bannister just crashing into the wall on purpose, which is not good indeed. So we'll have to look into that afterwards. Oh, sorry. And well played to all doing 100% on pads. I remember I used to do it, and it used to be great. I think it was only I can't remember which track it was. It was only one track that was a problem. I think it was probably Singapore. But yeah, it's not easy. It's not easy doing it on any controller really, on pad or on wheel. But as we can see here, we've got 8 retirements already. I'm running on lap 37 of 58, so we've still got 20 laps to go. So I'm expecting there to be less than 10 finishes, to be honest, at this stage, because it's not been a great race for the drivers there who've been unfortunately having incidents and out of this race, but there we go. So now we've got the safety car back out once again for the 5th time, and we're going to have to wait and see when we're going to be able to get going again. I think Gamer is the car at the back of the train, and then we'll be able to get going hopefully for lap 15. Lap 15. Hopefully we're not back on lap 15. Lap 39 there, which means we've got 20 laps to go in this race. And I think the most important thing now is to focus on getting to the end of the race rather than trying to do it quickly, because I think if you can get to the end of the race now, you can pretty much guarantee yourself some points, because I think a few drivers there are getting a bit too hot-headed and not having a great time there. yeah, not too often that happens. But there we go. We're back underway. Hopefully at the end of the next lap. We're, like I said, waiting for Gamer there to catch up to the safety car queue, so we can get ourselves restarted in this race. But there we go. Then we'll be well, like I said, 20 laps to go in this one. It is going to be a bit more of a long haul in this one, I think, as well. Right then, hopefully we are ready to get going once again. Safety car is it in? It is going in, is it? No, I'm not quite sure. I can't see where the safety car is now, so I'm not quite sure if it's a late call or not, but I think it is. Yeah, we are underway. Sorry, I couldn't see where the safety car was. There we go. Now we're back underway. Gamer's got past Kaz already at the start, before the start-finish line, so once again it's a problem for Gamer there if he doesn't relinquish the position once again. But Sick as Muck now picked up a penalty. That's not good news there for the Mercedes driver. I think that might be his second penalty of the race as well. Same for Beat. I think Beat's on 6 seconds as well. We'll have a look at the penalty situation very soon. But now lap 39 of 58. We're back underway. We have had 5 safety cars in this race already, and we've still got 20 laps to go. So now it's a bit more of a race of attrition indeed, as Katie there once again leads us away for the 5th time, and now Beat there in P2 trying to get himself back up in the, or keep himself in the order. Once again we saw Beat there having a bit of a troubled time there on the restart. On the last restart, that was compared to Sick as Muck, but he managed to keep hold of P2, and now will he try and keep hold of P2 as they're going to go? Well, it's going to be very close indeed. It's going to be side by side through the chicane again, and like I said, it's not a very easy overtaking spot here, but Sick as Muck and Beat are really going to go for it through here. And now on the inside goes Sick as Muck there into turn 14. He's got the move done, has the Mercedes driver is up into P2. Great stuff indeed there. He's got himself up into P2, but of course the penalty situation is not in his favour at this stage of the race. We'll have a look at the penalty situation. Of course, Dan Murphy there has not got any penalties so far, and that's going to be good news for him at the end of this race, I would say. Same for Kydell and same for Serious Mushroom as well, and for Chewy in P10 at the moment on the soft compound tyre. Serious Mushroom pushing Kydell through the corner on the final turn there. Oh, he's gone. I'm not sure where he's going now as well, as he's gone up into, is he going to get up into P2, P7, P6 I should say? No, he's not made any moves, but it looked like he was almost all over the back there of the McLaren driver on those hard compound tyres. I think trying to get those tyres warmed up there for Kydell was having a bit of trouble at this stage of the race, but of course in the lap or two they should be nice and warmed up enough to get himself back in this race. Gamer there is on 14 lap old medium compound tyres. Kaz has dropped down the order as well after being passed by Gamer as well, so unfortunately there it's not looking too good at the moment for those two drivers, but hopefully they can get themselves back in this race. Danny's had a problem there at the exit of turn 6, and he's lost out there too. Well, he's got a penalty there unfortunately for the Mercedes driver. Here comes Serious Mushroom there on Kydell once again. Can he get himself through the order and up into P6 very soon? I think he might have to make the move, but still sitting behind there into the chicane we go. And now can he make any moves there down towards turn 13 and 14 on the exit of the chicane? Here we go there for Serious Mushroom. They're going to go around the outside, it looks like, into turn 14. Late on the brakes indeed. He's got the move done, has he? He has done. Up into, oh, as Kydell going wide there. What's happening is Kydell almost off into the distance there, and into Danny as well, almost as well. Danny on the medium compound tyres is on the much fresher tyre, much better performing tyre at this stage of the race anyway than Kydell, and so we now have the DRS enabled, not disabled. DRS enabled there for Kydell, as Danny they're going to try and make a move there into turn 1. No, not quite, he's too far back, but now can he bide his time? Can he make any moves on the exit of turn 2 down towards turn 3? He's going to have the extra grip there from the fresher medium compound tyres. He's got the move done already, I think, on Kydell into turn 3. Going to go deep on the brakes. He's made the move up into P7. Good stuff indeed there from Danny, and Serious Mushroom now trying to get after Reflection as well, further up the order. This is not going to be too bad there for Serious Mushroom there if he can finish with this group of cars there as well. Sickers Muck has lost out 2.3 seconds. Blimey there to KD. KD is on great form indeed. Look at this. He's storming away there at the top of the field. Great stuff indeed there from the Aston Martin driver. He's really good, doing a great job there in this car. After having 5 restarts, he's created a gap on 5 occasions, and then he's had to had that gap really just wiped out there by the safety cars. It is on reduced as well. I'm not quite sure why the safety car's been so happy today to come out of the pit lane, but KD there get the gap up to back up to 2 seconds there, so he now looks quite comfortable in the lead of this race. Good stuff indeed there from the Aston Martin driver after his win, of course, in Saudi Arabia last night, looking to get another one last week, I should say, getting another one under his belt there. They're going to try and get past Sickers Muck there to get that P2 back from the Mercedes driver. Here he comes now down the main straight. DRS is activated, I think. Yes, it is. But no moves being made just yet into turn 1. Reflection is going to be staying with this battle as well. Dan Murphy on 17 lap old medium compound tyres. Will the mediums be able to get to the end of this race? We'll have to find out. Reflection there is going to be in a prime spot, especially, and so is Serious Mushroom and Danny as well. If they can get the tyres to the end of this race, they should be in a great spot indeed compared to the drivers around them as well. So let's have a look and see how it's going to pan out in the next few laps or so. Lap 42 of 58. We are getting towards the end of the race. I can tell you that, but like I said, it's been a long one indeed as Vintage picks up another penalty. He's currently in the points paying positions though, is Vintage. Good stuff indeed from him. He's done 21 laps there on the hard compound tyres. Not sure if they will get to the end or not. We'll have to find out, but it might be a bit of a long stint indeed if he can get to the end of this race. Gamer's got himself up into P9 there, getting himself past Vintage and Chewy there from P11 as well. So now back in the points is Gamer, but here comes his teammate of KD once again in the race lead. Very comfortable indeed. And a 2.3 second gap now. He's extending the lead there lap by lap, so looking great indeed for the Aston Martin outfit, getting another win under their belt, back-to-back wins as well. That'd be great stuff indeed, and back-to-back wins for KD as well, which would be fantastic indeed. Now Sickers Muck, is really under pressure there from the Alfa Romeo here of Beat. Can he make any moves now? Down towards turn 1 we go once again, and on lap 43 now there is no moves being made into turn 1, but now on the exit of turn 2, can he make any moves there with the DRS assistance and now some ERS as well to play with? He's going to be on the power as early as he can there and onto the DRS as well. Down in the inside, he's gone deep on the brake, so he's gone miles off the circuit, has the Alfa Romeo driver. That's going to cost him many places indeed. He's locked up as well. He's off the circuit completely and having to rejoin there down the order. He's going to be right down the back, I think, as well, because the queue is still quite bunched up, of course, after the safety car restart. A massive lock up indeed there for Beat in P12. Unfortunately for him, he's going to have to recover the car in this race. I think he can get to the end of this race on those hard compound tyres, so I don't think it's all doom and gloom for him just yet, because I think we'll see some pit stops there for the drivers around him as well, potentially the drivers on older mediums and on the soft compound tyres for the likes of Chewy, potentially Vintage as well. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, not good news there not good news indeed there for Beat there. Unfortunately, at this stage of the race, there's still 15 laps or so to go in this one, so there's still plenty to play for. But hopefully, he can get himself back in the points paying position. Sickers Muck now is going to be under pressure from Dan Murphy and Reflection as well. They're all catching up to the back of him now as well. Here comes Dan now round the final corner. Can he make any moves there for P2 down the main straight? Here we go on board with the Alpha Tauri. No, wrong car. There we go. On board with the Alpha Tauri now. As into turn 1 we go, looking down the inside, but no moves being made again. It seems like everyone's a bit hesitant to overtake here, but now into turns 2 and 3. Can we get any moves down into the braking zone here? Once again, no moves being made there for Sickers Muck there. He stays, sorry, not for Dan Murphy I should say, stays behind Sickers Muck there in P3. Reflection staying in P4. Serious Mushroom there can try and catch up to this battle as well and get himself up into P4 as well, potentially with that fresher medium compound tyres. Same for Danny and Serious Mushroom there on 7 lap old mediums, can easily get to the end of this race, and we'll be having great extra pace there at this stage as well. So going to be good, looking good indeed for Serious Mushroom and for Danny. Both at well, they don't even have to really push too hard. They can get to the end of this race regardless, and they can get a good result there indeed as well, especially for Serious Mushroom without any penalties as well. So it's not all doom and gloom just yet there for some of the drivers. Hopefully they can get some points there later on in this race. I think we'll almost be at the stage of getting everyone getting points at this rate, I think, because like I said, there's a lot of drivers there who have retired from this race. It seems to be a very much a race of attrition indeed, because you can see drivers there retiring from all over the place, and all sorts of different pace of driver as well. It's not just people who are struggling with the game. I think it's even the faster drivers who are having troubles with this game as well, or this track as well. Now around the final corner once again, here comes Dan Murphy, and he's got the DRS on, but the Mercedes once again of Sick as Muck doesn't want to let anybody through, does it? So he's carried on in P2 for the time being, and now around into turn 2, the exit of turn 2, onto turn down towards turn 3. Again, no moves being made there. Danny and Serious Mushroom switching places there. Danny up into P5, Serious Mushroom dropping down into P6 there. Serious Mushroom, they're just playing the long game, I think, because of course no penalties there for the Haas driver. That is going to be great news indeed. Chewy and Vintage switching places into turn 3. Chewy now up into P9 and trying to get himself up the order as well. Chewy, they're doing a good job. They're sticking in this race. He's now into the points paying positions. Well, he was in the points paying positions anyway. He was in P10, but now up into P9 for 2 points, that is. But at this stage of the race, looking good indeed. So hopefully he can carry on, cling on to that as well. Kaz has caught up to the back of this battle as well. So now Kaz going to try and get himself back up into the points paying positions also as well. Here comes Beat, trying to get that gap down. It's down to 3.7 seconds. It was at 4.8, I think it was on the last lap. Reflection and Dan Murphy switching places. Reflection up into P3. He's made the move, has Reflection up into P3 in the McLaren, getting past Dan Murphy. Now those mediums, of course, 5 laps younger than Dan Murphy's and Sick as Much as well. So that might be playing into Reflection's favour towards the end of this race anyway as well. We're on to lap 45 of 58. There is now 14 laps to go. Sorry, we're on to lap 46 of 58, which means we've got 13 laps to go. But now we're going to see is Reflection going to be able to get past the Mercedes. We've seen a few drivers that, like I said, struggle to get past the Mercedes here. But now we'll see if there's going to be any moves there from Reflection in towards turn 3. No moves being made. He's too far back to make a lunge. Dan Murphy stays in P4 for the time being, and Danny there up into P5. He's got the gap down there to the top 4, or to this group on the medium tyres ahead of them. So now down up into P5. There's Serious Mushroom there in P5. P6 needs to cling onto the back of this train and make sure he's got the DRS for future laps as well. But on the fresher medium compound tyres, Serious Mushroom needs to make sure he stays within the DRS range and the penalty range of the drivers ahead of him to make sure he can get some great points indeed for the Haas drivers, Haas outfit here. Danny there all over the back of Dan Murphy. Both the Dannys are racing each other now here as the Mercedes goes round the chicane. And now can he make any moves there up into P5 or P4 I should say for the Mercedes driver? Nope, not quite just yet. Both the Mercedes drivers, as Kydell has been passed by Gamer around the outside there of turn 14. Gamer now up into P7. Good stuff indeed. Dan Murphy almost drop off on the back there with DRS range from Reflection there as well. I think the medium compound tyres are already struggling here. Here comes Reflection now down the main straight. Can he make any moves there into turn 1 on the Mercedes driver? Once again, no moves made into turn 1. So it's a real struggle there. Chewy's in the pit lane, unfortunately for Chewy. I was going to say Chewy could carry on, stay in the points pen positions here, but he's already in the pit lane. So calling it a day there on the soft compound tyres already. Oh, late on the brakes goes Reflection. Not quite sure what's happened there. Dan Murphy's going to get that place back, I think, as he goes round the outside there. Reflection's had a problem. Reflection's having an issue there. Reflection's had an issue, and he's got himself back underway, but I think he's losing time, losing places. I'm not quite sure what's happened to the McLaren driver. He's really struggling there in the McLaren at this stage. He's got himself back underway, but now Dan Murphy there is he's lost out of DRS range of the top 2, and now Reflection there switching places. He's switched into P4. Not quite sure what happened to Reflection. They went deep on the brakes into turn 3, and that for some reason it was a bit slow. They're trying to get himself back underway, and that has cost him, unfortunately, placed there to Dan Murphy, and now could cost him further positions as well. But here comes Danny once again on the back of the McLaren this time, and Serious Mushroom is staying with this battle as well, which is great news indeed for Serious Mushroom. He could be able to get himself up onto the podium places if he can stay in this range. Gamer is going to come after him as well. Here comes Kydell as well. Kydell not being able to get himself back through. Chewy has made his stop there. He's onto the soft compound tyres again. So I think hopefully Chewy can get to the end of this race now on those soft compound tyres. Will we see more drivers pit in towards the end of this lap? We'll have to wait and see, and whether they will go onto the soft compound tyres as well, potentially go for an extra point as well for fastest lap. That is available to any driver who finishes the race. Sorry, I'm dying. Any driver who finishes the race, regardless of which position you finish, and of course, even if you finish outside the top 10 tonight, you're going to be getting a point potentially as well. So even if 11 drivers finish, technically all drivers could get a point in this race. But there we go. Then Kaz and Vintage have been joined now by Beat there in the Alfa Romeo. Down the order, Sick as Muck is off the circuit. Sick as Muck's had an issue there at the exit of turn 5. He's dropping down the order there on those old medium compound tyres. I'm not sure if he's got a puncture potentially. He has got no front window, unfortunately, for the Mercedes driver, so he's going to have to get himself back to the pit lane and get himself sorted with a new front wing, and then onto the soft compound tyres. I think he's going to be coming out ahead of of Chewy. Should he pit now and try and get himself at the fastest at that point as well, potentially? But he's dropped down the order after a bit of an incident there it looked like at the exit of turn 5, which has been a treacherous corner in the past, racing games on F1, and of course in this game as well, those curbs. So unfortunately for Sticker's Muck there, that's cost him from P2 down to P8 for the time being, of course, with a pit stop still to come as well, unfortunately there for the Mercedes driver, which is not good news. Vintage and Kaz have switched places there. Kaz going into P9 at the exit of turn 14, but now he's got Vintage there on the inside. Here comes Beat on the inside, on the outside as well. He's got the move done as Beat up into P10 there, trying to get himself past Kaz now as well. Sticker's Muck is in the pit lane. Sticker's Muck's got a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane as well. Unfortunately, not managed to slow that car down. As here comes Beat now, trying to get himself up the order there into P8, I should say. Can he get himself past the Ferrari driver? Is the next question on the books there. But now can he get a good exit out of turn 2? And now can he get himself with the DRS through past Kaz as well? He has gone down the inside there. Here comes the Alfa Romeo. He's got the move done up into P8 there for the Alfa Romeo, recovering after that horrible spin as well that we saw him have at the exit of I think it was turn 6, wasn't it, as well? But it seems like turn 5 and 6 always Kaz goes wide at turn 5. Every time you see that happen, you think that it's going to be a big smash, because it seems to be the area that the drivers are having the most problems with as well. So thankfully they've got themselves back underway. Sticker's Muck has got himself back underway as well. He's on the soft compound tyres now and can get himself underway for another fastest lap attempt potentially, and see if he can get himself back in the points pen positions. Of course, we might see some drivers pit still. The likes of Vintage on 28 lap old hard compound tyres, Kaz on 22 lap old mediums, Beat on 24 lap old hards. Yellow flag. It's for Sticker's Muck once again, but he seems to be okay now. Good stuff indeed. He seems to be going on the grass a bit as well, so hopefully he can get himself sorted and back underway. Let's have a look at the battle here. Out in front, we've got a 3.6 second gap there between Dan Murphy and KD. Dan Murphy with no penalties at the moment. I'm not quite sure. We'll have a look at the penalty situation now. But there we go. We're going to see 3 seconds as we've got Reflection off the circuit. Reflection's had an issue at the exit of turn 1 and 2. And Reflection was right behind Dan Murphy, but he wasn't going for a move, I don't think. But he managed to keep the car pointing in the right direction. Thankfully, he's down to P7. Unfortunately, though, for the McLaren driver, is behind his teammate of Kydell there. Unfortunately, there big change there indeed for oh dear. Bear with us. Let me get the game started again. Oh dear, oh dear. Hopefully, I can get back into the lobby. We can get back into this battle as well, but at the moment we're going to have to sit tight and hope that I can get myself back into the session. Communicating with online services still. Hopefully I can get back into the lobby very soon. Bear with us 1 second, guys. But we'll get back into the battles very soon. Like I said, I think I'm back in now. Good stuff indeed. Sorry about that. Right then, fingers crossed, we are back in spectator mode. We are back in the session, which is good news indeed. Right then, we'll have a look at the order once again. Like I said, we'll get the telemetry up, the penalties. We're looking at penalties. KD has got a 3-second penalty. He's currently currently 9/10 ahead of Dan Murphy at this stage of the race with the penalty situation. Danny's got himself up the order. I think no. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what happened there. Danny is in P3, but he's got 6 seconds penalties. That will move him behind. Sticker's Muck sets the fastest lap of the race. That is a good news indeed for Sticker's Muck. That's going to be an extra point for himself and the Mercedes team. Danny there has got 6 points, 6 penalties, 6 seconds of penalties, I should say. None for serious smash from Dan. Gamer's got 3 seconds of penalties. Kydell's got none as well. Reflection's got 6 seconds, as has Beat. Kaz has got none at the moment as well. Vintage has got 6. Chewy on the soft compound tyres as well has got no penalties at this stage of the race. So let's have a look and see how they're going to get to the finish line. Sticker's Muck there has gone off the circuit at turn 5 once again, and exactly where we were saying that is where the issues are lying there for most of the drivers there in this race. KD does not want another safety car, I don't think, in this race as well. He wants to carry on to the end of this race, and now we're on to lap 52. We're just starting lap 52 now as he crosses the line to finish lap 51 there. Good stuff indeed for KD there. He's done a great race indeed as the Aston Martin driver. I think being put under pressure 5 times by for the safety car restart is probably not an easy feat, but he's done a great job indeed of managing the gap there and managing the restarts as well. Done 5 times indeed as well. So an absolute epic drive indeed from the Aston Martin driver so far. Hopefully he can carry that on for the next 6 laps or so to the end of the race. Dan Murphy there in P2. He's going to be on track there for that P2 position as well, because of course Danny can get past him and has to go 6 seconds up the road there to get himself up into P2 position because of the penalty situation for the Mercedes driver. Into the pits goes Ziggy Muck once again. So that will be that was him back in the pit lane. Hopefully get another set of soft compound tyres on to go for an even fastest lap. But there we go. Then Sirius Mushroom has dropped off the back of these 2 here as well now, so Sirius Mushroom is looking behind him instead to behind X Gamer and Kydell, who are chasing him down there on much older tyres, to be honest. They're on 26 lap old hards, 26 lap old mediums for Gamer and 28 lap old hards for Kydell. So Sirius Mushroom's got much fresher tyres. He's only on 15 lap old mediums is the Haas driver. So good stuff indeed. Ziggy Muck has got himself back out of the pit lane ahead of KD, so he's on the lead lap still. Should there be another safety car, which I'm sure we don't want. I don't want it. So there we go. But KD there, he's got a 4.3 second gap. He's looking very comfortable indeed at this stage of the race. Is the Aston Martin driver, like I was saying, on to lap 53 of 58. We've got 5 laps to go at the end of this one, so not too long to go now for the Aston Martin driver to claim yet his second win of the season and back-to-back wins as well. Of course, winning in Saudi Arabia there as well. So very close indeed this race. Well, not so much for KD thankfully now at this stage, but of course with the restarts, Kaz picks up a penalty as well. That's Kaz's first penalty of the night. So he's done 26 laps there on those medium compound tyres. He's got to get them to 32 laps, I think, to be able to finish this race on those medium compound tyres. I'm not quite sure if they're going to be the right tyre or not. Chewy here is doing a great job of bringing that gap down. It was at 10 seconds before we got booted out of the session. It's now at 7.3. So he's bringing that gap down very quickly indeed. Is Chewy. Hopefully he can bring it down enough to get himself within the points paying positions as well. Yellow flag for Reflection, I think. No, it's for Kydell. Kydell off the circuit at the chicane. He's had an issue there. He's dropped down behind his teammate of Reflection. He's going to be ahead, I think, of Beat there. Beat's going to be trying to get himself back up the order. He's just going to be slotting in to P8 there, P7 sorry for Kydell. But unfortunately Kydell having an issue there at the exit of the chicane has cost him massively. They've dropped down behind his teammate. He was up in P5, I think he was, trying to chase down Sirius Mushroom there, wasn't he? So unfortunately there for Kydell, he's dropped himself back down to P7, but I think he's still got the pace and the lack of penalties to get himself further up the order when the race classification does finally get there. We're on to lap 54, so 5 laps remaining. I was saying back with Chewy. Chewy can hopefully get himself within the range of Vintage there and Kaz to get himself within the points paying positions potentially. We've got 6 seconds there for Vintage, so he's only got 1 second to gain there on Vintage, and he needs to gain another 4 seconds there to get himself within the 3-second penalty range of Kaz as well. So potentially still some points on offer for Chewy there if he can get himself within that 1 second window or so. Like I said, the tyres there will be falling off very quickly, I think indeed, especially for Kaz and for Vintage as well on those very old hard and medium compound of tyre as well. So we'll have to wait and see how it all unfolds at the end of this race. Can they all get to the end of the race as well? There's a lot of drivers there with very old tyres in this race. They've done almost 30 laps there on those tyres as well. So it's going to be a stretch to get themselves to the end of the race as well. We're just about to finish lap 54. So we're going to have 4 more laps of racing. Sirius Mushroom's gone very wide there at the exit of turn 14. That is going to compromise him there. Here can Gamer get himself up into P4. He's going to get himself a 3-second gap as well to Sirius Mushroom if he wants to hold on to that P4. But nonetheless, he's got himself in the DRS range there of the Haas driver as they go down the main straight now as well. So here we go. Here comes Gamer there, trying to get a move done. I think he might have to bide his time and wait for another opportunity there very soon. I think that Aston Martin will be through the order and up into P4 once again. I think he's going to be a candidate for driver of the day, to be fair as well, because Gamer had a horrible first half of the race. He had a very horrible first half of the race and has got himself very comfortably now up into the top 5 positions. Yeah, he's done a fantastic job indeed to recover in this race, in my opinion anyway. So yeah, like I said, he's done a great job indeed for the Aston Martin outfit, and to get himself almost from outside the points there all the way into the top echelons of the points as well. He's not done a bad job indeed. Kaido picks up a penalty. That's his first penalty of the race, unfortunately for Kaido, and that has now put him under pressure there from Beat. I think Beat's got 6 seconds of penalties, hasn't he? So that is not too bad for Kaido, because he's now got a 3-second leeway, I suppose you could say, to the Alfa Romeo behind him. Out in front, here comes X-Gamer. They're trying to line up a move there into turn 14 once again on the Haas of Serious Mushroom. He's staying behind for the time being. The red light there flashing on the Haas as well to indicate that he's harvesting energy, but of course he has not. That means he's not got a lot of the battery power there to use to defend from the Aston Martin attacking him behind. Here he comes now onto the main straight. You can see in the foreground there the AlphaTauri of Dan Murphy and the Mercedes of Danny as well. As they come up to turn 1, here comes Gamer once again. He's too far back to make any moves into turn 1, but now into turn 3, can he make any moves as well? I think what we're seeing here as well is the tyre wear factor in massively into the pace and the overtaking. We've got yellow flags for Dan Murphy. He's had a problem there. Dan Murphy's off the circuit. Is there a puncture there for the AlphaTauri? I don't think so. He seems to be okay. I'm not quite sure what's happened there. Gamer's gone through, and I'm not quite sure what's happened to Dan Murphy. Has he got a puncture on that AlphaTauri? I'm not quite sure. No, he's still going. Can he go to the end of this race? Hopefully he can. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what happened there to Dan. He's had a problem there at turn 4 or turn 5, I think it might have been. He's got himself back underway, and he's got wing end plate damage there. But I think he might be able to carry on in this race just to get to the end of the race with that damage there, rather than having to make a pit stop. I think it will cost him a bit too much time there at this stage of the race to make a pit stop at this stage anyway. Serious Russian there is now technically up into a net P2 with the penalty situation there for the drivers ahead of him. KD there, even with his penalty, is okay as yellow flags elsewhere. What's happening elsewhere? Sick as muck. No, it's not. What's happening? Well, I'm not quite sure what's going on here. Not quite sure. I think Sick as muck might be just letting through KD on the main straight there. Dan Murphy is in the pit lane. He has come into the pit lane, so Dan calling it a day there on those medium combat tyres at the last stage. Maybe he was in puncture territory as well, so he doesn't want to risk the penalty, the puncture there as well for the AlphaTauri outfit. And he wants to get some points on the board for the AlphaTauri team as well. Yeah, unfortunately for Dan Murphy, was running very comfortably there in P2. But like I said, I think the tyres there are just giving away for some drivers as well. We might see the same for Gamer, the same for Reflection potentially, and the same for Kaz, which is going to be, they've got 2 laps to go. Which could be fatal there in this race, unfortunately for those drivers if it does happen. But fingers crossed it doesn't happen now, of course. Like I said, I think unfortunately for Dan there, the tyres was giving way. Chewy is back in the points paying position now, which is great news indeed. We have seen Chewy there doing a good job there, trying to get himself back in this race. So good stuff from Chewy there, getting himself into the points paying positions. 2 laps to go, like I said. So can we get to the finish line there with the 12 drivers we've got intact? Sick as muck there is on the back there of KD, the race leader. KD has lapped the Mercedes driver for the time being, but I think Sick as muck there on the fresher soft compound tyres might try and unlap himself here with the extra pace there and with the DRS assistance as well down the main straight. No moves being made just yet, but like I said, it seems quite comfortable at the moment for the KD. I think he won't be able to afford even letting Sick as muck go through and then go for the move. Vintage and Kaz switching places there into the penultimate turn there. Vintage up into P8, and now Kaz switching places down to P9 now, unfortunately for the Ferrari driver. So that is he'll try and get the move back hopefully. See if there's going to be some battles here unfolding between the two. But now you can see in the background, Chewy is gaining on these guys as well. This is going to be great news indeed for Chewy. He can get himself some great points if he can get to the finish line within that 3-second gap there of Kaz. I think Kaz has got he's got 3 seconds better as well. So Kaz, if he can get that 3/10 that he needs there to Kaz, he can get himself past Vintage and past Kaz on the penalty situation. Dan Murphy there is closing in the gap as well. You can see Dan in the background. But we're on to the final lap of this race. What a race it's been. It's been one hell of a race of attrition, hasn't it? But KD has been leading the race for quite a long time, and is going to come around the final couple of corners there to complete the 58 laps here of the Albert Park Melbourne Grand Prix, Australian Grand Prix. Fantastic stuff indeed. They're round 16 of the ALR 100% division, and what a race it's been indeed. KD is your race winner there in Australia. Fantastic stuff indeed there from the Aston Martin driver. A really well-driven race, a very controlled race as well, especially keeping his head calm in the after all the safety car restarts, but a fantastic drive nonetheless. Serious Mushroom there gets P2 with the penalty situation there for Danny, who finishes P3. Gamer in P4, Reflection in P5. Beat there does get P6 in the end, ahead of Kydell, who is going to finish in P7. Then we've got Vintage there in P8. Kaz going to come across the line. I think Kaz and Vintage might switch places here, as Chewy there's going to be under pressure there from Dan Murphy as well. But across the line goes, oh, we can't see, we didn't see exactly what happened there. So there we go. But what a race indeed, like I was saying, a fantastic race of attrition indeed. The 12 drivers who did finish, fantastic stuff indeed to those drivers. Hats off to you for completing the 58 laps around here. Reflection gets driver of the day from the game. I think X Gamer might be my candidate for driver of the day as well. He got himself into P4 in the end as well. But fantastic driving indeed from all the drivers who managed to get to the end of this race. And unlucky for those who, of course, couldn't complete the 58 laps. It was a difficult one indeed. It didn't look like it was going to be as hard as the sort of Belgian Grand Prix that we've experienced before. But yeah, I think Australia is now one of the candidates for the most difficult race indeed. So well done to, like I said, all the drivers who finished, and like I said, unlucky to the guys who couldn't make it to that checkered flag. But Aston Martin of KD, well, Aston Martin were very happy indeed. Actually, they just missed out on a podium, I think, for a double podium, but they got a race win under their belt and a P4. Fantastic stuff indeed from KD and from Serious Mushroom as well in P2, and Danny there as well in P3. So good stuff indeed. You can see the drivers there celebrating on the podium. We will run through the classification very shortly as well, but what a race indeed from all the drivers who've taken part tonight. KD there, your race winner there, your back-to-back races, back-to-back wins there for KD as well in the 100% league. Serious Mushroom there in P2 in the Haas starting from P15. Very good drive indeed from him. Fantastic stuff indeed to finish P2 on the grid. Danny there in P3 as well from 14th. Great stuff indeed from him as well. Gamer there in P4 with 5 stops after that recovery drive, I think is my candidate for driver of the day. Reflection there in P5, sorry, from P19 as well. Good stuff indeed from him. Beat there having to recover there after a spin. P6 indeed. Kydell P7. Dan Murphy in P8. Chewy there does get 2 points in P9. Kaz in P10. Vintage in P11. Sick as Muck in P12. Unfortunately, Bannister, Siege, Swanshanks and Immortal, Hungry Stars, Lucas Percy, Brooksy and Kiki did not finish in this Australian Grand Prix. Right then, we'll quickly run through. We've run through the classification. We'll run through the interviews hopefully as well. Fingers crossed. We've got some drivers who have joined us. Bear with me 1 second whilst I try and get the mic set up. Yeah, so great drive indeed there from all the drivers who took part. To be fair, it was good stuff from. Oh no, I've got to try and get this sorted. Yeah, it was good stuff indeed, that race, and. I don't know what the invite is. Not a chat party. Yes, it is Serious Mushroom. There is the invites to the party chat for the interviews. So, like I said, hopefully we've got some. Who we got in here? Let me find out. We've got KD in here. We'll start from first and go down to P3. So KD, your back-to-back race wins there for yourself, and what a race that was from yourself as well. So, what were you thinking when you saw all these safety cars coming out?
Well, I expected a lot of chaos because I actually raced Melbourne last night in another league race. We had like 3 safety cars, and then I commentated a race. We had 5 safety cars on Sunday. But no, like, of course, as a driver's perspective, it gets annoying. But part of it though did help me. It's in a sense. I was kind of hoping for, like, obviously, like, I think it was like the second or third where it just timed it absolutely perfectly for me to get onto the hard tires and then carry them to the end of the race. But yeah, yeah, no, I'm happy. I'm actually very, very pleased with pretty much finishing first on merit. I mean, I know last week I got one off of a penalty at Saudi, but this one was more on merit, and I'm very happy about that for sure.
And what was your thoughts when you started? We had to do 5 safety car restarts tonight. Were you thinking? Did you know what the plan was for every single one of them, or were you just hoping that you didn't catch up?
Oh, I mean, I I was in the party with Gamer, and like I told him like, oh, like when I'm gonna go. So like the first couple of times, I think you may have saw like I try to go pretty early, and then everyone like kind of was close to me and whatnot, and I thought, okay, well, what I'll do is instead I'll just go around the final corner, go as slow as I can, and then accelerate as well. I'll have the tires up to 10, and everyone behind me has colder tires. But yeah, no, that was my game.
Out 5 times to be fair, so it was a good
Yeah,
strategy, whatever it was. So
yeah,
well done
somehow,
to you as well.
yeah.
No, congratulations
Thanks.
on the win there as well. And we've got we're back to sort of normal programming, I suppose you could say. Next week, Japan is the next track on the circuit. So, what's your thoughts for that circuit?
I'm not a big fan of Suzuka in this game. I used to be a fan of it in the previous games with the older cars, but with these newer cars, it's just I don't know. It's just like you got to be like very careful with the curbs there more because obviously these cars get twitchy. But yeah, we'll just wait and see. But hopefully I'll do good there as well.
Yeah, I said Sector 1 was a bit of a problem there. It looked like for most of the drivers today as well. So Sector 1 to look out for next week in Japan for sure as well. Serious Mushroom, I think you've joined us. Hopefully you've joined us. Welcome to the podium places in the 100% League. I think this is your first podium of the season so far. But what a race from yourself! And how did it feel getting that podium place at the end?
I think it was a bit of a fluke, to be honest, because a lot of people had problems. So, but I'll take it. I just kept doing what I was doing, just trying to avoid penalties, and just kept going and going. That's it.
Yeah, I think you were one of 3 drivers who finished without a penalty at the end of that race. So it really helped you in the end, of course. And well, I think you can't say it wasn't well deserved. I would have to say that race indeed was well deserving of a podium for yourself and for the Haas team as well. And your teammate got points as well. He got P9 in the end as well. Yeah. So yeah,
nice.
Got Vintage and Kaz, I think, at the end there on the penalties as well. So both of you drivers, actually both the Haas drivers, I think, were the in terms of the penalties, were the cleanest ones out the field. So it just goes to show it works out. So good stuff indeed from both of you. But very, very pleased indeed for your first podium in the 100% League as well. And what was your thoughts as well going through that race as it sort of progressed towards the end? Did you think you might have a podium on the cards?
No, not really. I thought Dan would get it, and Boom was spinning, so that's bad for him. But if I could keep with Game, because I thought Game would overtake me as well. But then I seen, who was it in front? Was it Danny?
Yeah,
he got 6-second penalty.
He had a penalty, yeah, 6 seconds.
And I thought, well, if I stick with him, that's my main focus, just to stay with him, stay behind him, and hopefully, I thought I'd get 3rd or something, or 4th. That's probably the best I could wish for, but I got 2nd.
Yeah, there you
it's a
go.
bonus.
It worked out all well for you in the end. All good stuff indeed. It could have been 1 point if KD had just let you have the 3-second gap, then you could have won the race as well.
Yeah. Hey, well done, KD, by the way.
Thanks, appreciate it, Mushroom. Congratulations to you on your podium.
Cheers, mate.
Good stuff indeed. Well, that'll be it for ALR this week. Of course, we'll be back on Sunday. There, we're going to be in. Where are we going to be? I can't remember exactly. We're going to be in Singapore, of course,
Suzuka.
On Sunday.
For the weekend. Sorry.
Silver in Suzuka. Silver in Singapore as well on the Monday, and the same for bronze on Tuesday. And then we'll be back in. We'll be in Suzuka, yes, for next week in the 100% League, of course. So stay tuned